live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
We have the fine folks here of Bite School 2. We have director James Balsamo.
Hey, everybody.
Very excited. Effects artist and actor Joe Castro.
Everybody out there.
Writers and cinematographer, which is Sophia, but Sophia Cassiola and Michael Epstein.
Hello.
Hello. So Bite School 2, 10 years in the making.
Whoa.
It felt like we shot for 10 years.
Yeah, well, 10 years since the last movie. 10 years since the last movie.
Yeah.
10 years, yeah.
So, I know you had planned it to come out earlier. So, why did it take a decade to get Bite School 2 out?
So I actually started shooting Bite School 2 4 years ago, and then I went to Las Vegas, and the movie mutated into From Dusk Till Bong, which is on TV right now. And so Bite School 2, the story, the location, everything just became like, Bite School 1.5. So it turned into something completely different. And so I still held the vision for Bite School 2, and we did it thanks to these amazing people you see before you.
Yes, and all of them are also in the movie. Some of them very often, or in multiple roles, I should say.
Yeah, Joe plays like 15 characters. Michael is in half the movie, and Sophia pops up, all throughout it. So it's great. I love these people. You know what I mean? It's so fun. It was like a Monty Python-esque where we all played kind of multiple characters. It was really fun.
There are actual scenes where James actually fights himself. That's how talented this man is.
Absolutely. You make me look like someone completely different. It's all
you are literally fighting yourself in points of the film. Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
we thought these were celebrity cameos. They're just James and
just Mission Impossible.
That's not really Jack Nicholson at all.
Master of disguise, James Balsamo.
That's right, Turtle.
So, Michael and Sophia, how did you guys get involved? Because I believe I know you have a few things in the works now with James, but how did you guys get involved with James and start making stuff?
We've known James for a while,
James is in the Once and Future Smash.
He's in the Once and Future Smash.
We all worked on together
in 2 roles, so not as many roles as we have in this, but he's in 2 roles. It's pretty good.
Maybe
good,
3, maybe. Yeah.
3, maybe.
One of our friends convinced us to shoot a music video for him at James's place, and then James was like, "You want to show up again tomorrow night?" or whatever. We're like, "Okay," and then it just kept being like, "Okay, so you're coming back next week."
And we were having fun. I mean, the thing is,
it was adding more and more nights over the course of a few months.
Yeah, it was really fun. We love messing around with the weird stuff. We have the same kind of weird taste, I think, as James and Joe, and so it was just really fun to get together and kind of explore different ideas. And there's a lot of I don't know how much we haven't really talked about the movie, but there's a lot of different little kind of stories and vignettes and characters. It's chock full of stuff, and I think that was made it really fun.
Yeah. If I knew what I was doing, I should ask right at the start if James can explain what the movie is about.
No one can.
Yeah, exactly. So I reprised my role as Tony Canoni, and Joe Castro plays Robot Dracula, and Michael is Reynolds, because he's got tinfoil on his head. It's a nod to Reynolds rap. And then he does a Reynolds rap in the movie. But Tony Canoni and Spat have to destroy all the heads of vampires across the world. And so we go to Vienna Sausage Land and fight the Krampus, the Krampire, if you will. And there's all sorts of weird robot Bat Satanico, like there's all sorts of weird areas right back there. That's Joe Castro made that beautiful bat head, and this stone statue you see before me. This is all Joe's beautiful work here, and you can see that all in Bite School 2, Bite Squad, and then there's like these people that help me that make up the Bite Squad, and it's an eclectic collection of strange, beautiful LA actors that are playing weird versions of themselves, and they get murdered. Spoiler alert. So Joe had lots of blood spilled in this movie. Beautiful, beautiful blood.
And a couple times you people
And
mentioned
it
here
looked
that
gorgeous. It looks beautifully cinematic because of Sophia and Michael. You know what I mean? They made it look like a movie.
There's lots and lots of fog. That's the secret.
there is a lot of fog in the movie, which I'm in favor of. A lot of fog and colored lights.
We love fog and colored lights.
Yeah.
Well, being on set watching Sophia and Michael work their magic is like watching kind of like a horror Cirque du Soleil with the lights and the smoke, and they don't even have to complete sentences to each other now. They work so closely together. They have their own like on-set language. Half a sentence here, and they know exactly where to hold the light and do the thing. Yeah, no, Sophia and Michael absolutely know how to make our work look amazing. So grateful for that. Yeah.
Sophia mentioned like having fun, just making up silly things or whatever. But that definitely comes through the movie. Is like everyone's having a good time, and you can feel that this is just everyone is having a good time. They're having fun, and you have fun while you're watching it. Then.
Yeah, that's the
Absolutely.
point. It's entertainment, right? Like, where did escapism go? Movies can be silly still, and I think all of us in our own separate ways are doing that and have been doing that for a long time.
Andy Pandy's a fan of the Bat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Spat the Bat. Joe Castro also made Spat.
It's only through James's amazing direction. I'm just an instrument of his imagination, basically. Because James is very specific about the things he wants. So, I will tell him, send me an image of what you think. Find something that's similar, or and I'd like to work with James very carefully when I do this stuff. I'll send him. If we go through our text messages, James, the whole conversation, you could make an entire documentary about this just from our text messages. I send James everything as I'm moving along through it, and and I try to let Michael and Sophia know what I'm bringing to set too sometimes, so they can get an idea of what they're gonna like, what's gonna happen. And it really shows, I think, on camera, that we all have the same kind of the same kind of fun in mind when we go to set, because we're doing this to have fun. I mean, we really are, and I think it shows, like you said, on camera.
Do you have to work faster than normal on a movie like this? Does James like come up with something like the night before, and you like get to put it together?
The night before? You're talking about the afternoon before. James will literally call me at like 11:30 a.m. It's still in the morning, and be like, "Hey Joe, we're gonna have some vampires here tonight. Let's shoot the Krampus. We want to do a couple of kills. What kind of kills do you want? I don't know. What do you got?" And then then I'll send him some pictures of stuff I got. I said, "Can we do a little bit of this? Can we do a little bit of that?" And he says, "Yeah, and then we show up, and everybody's game. Everybody's game when we come to set. And the best part about working with a team like this and in the city of Los Angeles is that everybody who comes to set, has some idea of what they can expect. So they're not expecting not to do anything but have fun and do something super crazy. Everybody's game for whatever's going down, and that really helps, because when you're kind of doing this comedic shtick that we do, that Michael and James are good at doing, you need to have the liberty to say, "Hey, try this," even though it sounds crazy. Just go with it, and then it always ends up being a home run.
Now, Michael, James brought up the Reynolds rap, and this is pretty amazing in the movie. I got to see it prior to the movie. So, did you write the lyrics? Walk us through the rap.
Sure. Yeah, I think maybe James made a joke about it, because we were talking about Reynolds, the character Reynolds. He's like, "Oh, you should do a Reynolds rap." I'm like, "Okay, I'm on it. I'm doing it." And he's like, "Okay, you are? Is that really a thing?" So I did. I wrote lyrics. I wrote the lyrics, I think, the day before, and recorded it quickly, and then we shot it. So yeah, it was a fun. Obviously, I wanted to like mess around with the idea of like a sort of both a kind of somewhat aged, seasoned vampire trying to be involved in kind of like a gangsta hip hop kind of thing. So it's fun. Yeah.
And James, what did you think of the rap when you first hear it?
I loved it, and I was honored to be part of the choreographed dancing with Michael and Jeremy Long. The three of us, we really brought it back to the streets, yo.
Yeah. Any plans to go further with that? Maybe you guys can form a group, go on tour.
I think that might be the end of it, but maybe
Well, in High School 3, because my character mentions like some other vampire rap groups. So
the rap battle.
Maybe there could be a rap battle. Yeah, I forget what they were. They were like all puns.
Yeah,
but yeah.
maybe there's a whole movie about the underground hip hop scene of vampires. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sold. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the sound.
You mentioned puns.
On the microphone.
Yeah.
And then we could do like at the beginning of Blade where they used all those gallons of blood in the techno scene. We could do a rap scene with all the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, 666 mile.
Yeah, 666.
I believe I heard Sophia in the chorus for the rap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We never filmed me doing anything.
Yeah, we thought about
intended to like have me floating or something, and we just never got around to it.
Yeah.
We'll save
Yeah,
that.
I was the fly girl, I guess that's the term, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to
That's what
sing
all
the hook,
kids
know?
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids know about fly girls.
So where is Spat the Bat?
Oh, Spat. Okay, hold on. You want him? You got him. Hold on.
Oh,
Ah,
Oh, there he is.
yes.
Dave Gould.
is it
Also-
working?
AKA Jeremy Long, who we
And
just
I
mentioned.
apologize. I think all of us wanted you here and other people here, but I think both of us thought the other person invited you. So
Oh, no
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be included, even as an afterthought.
I mean, it's my show. I probably should have been the one to do it, but look at that. It's amazing.
Very
Back here. I just want to say these are all beautiful people. I'll be in my trailer if you need me. See you later, suckers. Go see Bicycle 2.
Man.
I never had any idea what was going on or what we were filming that night, but I would show up and there'd be like 20 people there, and he'd be like, all right, you guys are vampires, go to Joe.
Yeah.
You guys are getting killed tonight, go over here. It would just be like total mayhem.
It kept it
every night.
exciting.
Yeah, and then people would ask me what was going on, and I was like, I'm just gonna hit record and hope for the best. I'm gonna put up my colored lights and film whatever happens in front of the camera. And it was always wild. It was always mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that advice.
I was always like try to line everybody up and do them all at the same time, so that way the last person didn't see the crazy stuff I was doing to the first person and have time to think about
Leaving?
bowing out. So by the time they realized what was going on, I was already sticking stuff on their face, and the first person was already sitting in it.
There'd be like a line of people making their vampire teeth in the
Yes,
bathroom.
and sometimes the vampire people are putting vampire makeup on the other vampires. Oh, like, can you help me out here? But the best part about this whole thing for me was teaching everyone how to make their own custom set of vampire fangs.
Ooh.
And sometimes I had to put my hands in people's mouths. Sometimes they put the hands in other people's mouths. And we even did some dental work all together. And it was fun. It was
James got a filling. And,
I just want to say my favorite story. My favorite story that I like to tell everybody, because I never worked with the great Joe Castro before, and so I just kind of arrived, and James was like, "Oh, you're gonna be this vampire, and then go in and talk to Joe, and blah blah blah." Anyways, he's putting all this prosthetic stuff on me, and I can't see without my glasses, and of course my glasses are off, and he's doing all this stuff, and all of a sudden I just hear, "Oh crap!" from Joe, and I'm like, "What?" And then he's like, no, it'll be fine. No, don't worry. And I'm like, what? I really had to put my faith in Joe upon first meeting. So therefore, we're bonded for life.
Thank you for trusting me. I appreciate that. Knock on wood, I have yet to send someone to the emergency room or any sort of cosmetic surgery. And I praise Michael for allowing me to airbrush that alcohol-based makeup. How many times did we put the makeup on you? At least eight times.
Yeah,
eight different times. The prosthetic, the makeup on him, and then it's not the putting on part that's hard. It's the taking it off that can be difficult because we take some more chemicals to take it off.
Yeah.
So just leave it on forever.
Well, over the years, did we leave it on from day to day sometimes? So That way we knew where it was a little bit, or did you wipe it off?
Not on purpose, but I think it didn't all come off all the time.
Yeah.
I remember my legs when I was doing RoboCock, when I had the leg veins.
Yes.
Those leg veins didn't come off for like 2 weeks. Like they were, but partly because I couldn't see them to like scrub them off. So I'd just be, walking around. I'd see my leg in the mirror. I'm like, oh, there's still like a giant, which is fine. I mean, nobody was looking at my legs except for.
Well, yeah, like over
Sophia,
the years, I if you would have told me as a 12-year-old that putting makeup on people at 55 could be make them uncomfortable, I may not have become a specialist makeup artist. So over the years, I tried to learn how to put things on so everybody is, somewhat comfortable, or at least having fun with it. I want everybody to have fun when I put makeup on their face and cover up their eyes. And James is a trooper, though. James is like, do it, just do it. Put his face out like that. Let's go.
And for people know, RoboCock, it was a character that Michael played. He wasn't.
Not my normal.
It's an alter ego. Yeah.
That's his new nickname, though. He always called him.
I remember that day
Just
in the
his past
morning.
name.
We got a text from Joe in the morning that day that RoboCock was happening. I don't think we even knew about RoboCock yet.
I knew about
you did,
RoboCock.
but you got a text from Joey like, "Do you own a jock strap?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Ah."
Does it have a cod piece? Can I paint it? Can I glue something to it? Yeah, I remember.
And the answer
that.
was yes,
By the
I
way,
did.
Yeah.
From
RoboCop
Endzone
is
2.
also the name of Michael's upcoming autobiography.
It is. Yeah.
Uh,
Nobody wants to
Joshua-
publish it.
By the way, it's cool if you watch a show wherever on all the different platforms, but I can't pop up your chat unless you're on YouTube. But Joshua Milliken on Facebook says, hello, Joe, Michael, Sophia, James, miss you guys.
Hello.
Hello,
So,
Josh.
Hope you know who that is.
Yeah, we
Yes,
do.
we do.
Yeah, I just kidding.
He's a great guy.
All right. All right, I won't kick him out. Jeremy, how did you get involved?
I asked Mike and Sophia if they wanted help shooting or any kind of like help in like the production sense, and because I've known them for a while and we worked on other stuff, and they're like, yeah, we could always use some extra hands, and they're just like, here's James's email him, and see if and I was like, all right, so I did, and he's like, yeah, stop on by, here's the address. And then I stopped on by, and then he's like, all right, you're going to be Cyborg Bat Satanico. Can you fit into this trash can like costume that Joe designed? And I was like, I think so. And anyways, long story short, when you slice it, all of a sudden I'm playing 5 different roles, much like
And not
much
helping
like Mike.
production at all.
And not helping in fact, being a hindrance, if anything. And yeah, and then I don't know. I just obviously I fell in love with James, and we became besties, and it was just so great to be a part of the wild and crazy ride that was shooting Bite School 2.
Have you seen the finished film yet?
I have, yeah, and I loved it.
That's good. It's good. I was staring at Mike's legs, by the way.
Okay.
Nobody else might have been, but I was.
He is kind of jealous now.
You can have them.
No, I did see it. I watched it a couple times actually. At this point, some various drafts, but I think it came together really well.
And I should ask this, James. You mentioned a few times to go see it. Where can people see Bite School 2?
So it actually comes out in stores everywhere next week. So run to your local Walmarts or FYEs or wherever you could buy movies, or go to jamesbalsamo.com. What are you waiting for? We're waiting to make the third one. Hurry up, go buy it. We need $5 to make Bite School 3.
My favorite is Joe's werewolf transition, where like he has his hand up and he's looking at it, he pulls it down, and then we pull up somebody else's hand, Jeremy's hand, I think.
Yeah.
It's my favorite
That
moment.
Great gag.
My hand is Joe's werewolf hand. Yeah.
It's so low res, but it's so great.
It's
It
classic.
makes me laugh.
It's
Yeah.
classic. Yeah.
Yeah, it totally works. And then they're just like, he's a werewolf. In case
For
you
some
didn't
reason,
realize.
There's a werewolf. Yeah.
I love it.
If everybody watching this stream donates 50 cents each, we'll be able to make Bite School 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. JamesBalsamo.com and go donate. Go buy. Is it on Blu-ray, DVD,
Yep.
DVD,
Yep.
both?
Oh, and it'll be streaming everywhere on Amazon Prime, just
Oh, nice.
like some of my other movies I've made with Joe Castro and Michael and Sophia.
Nice.
So, and Jeremy, like Gimp Pimp and the Saxophone Samurai, out now for my second film company, Die Star.
I'm also
So
in
we'll
becoming friends
with
with
monsters for the sequel of that.
yeah, the solo adventures of the Pope of Poontang is the sequel to that.
I can't make movies fast enough. But if I could kidnap you all and only make movies, we would make so
That's
many.
a movie in itself. It's like Misery. Yeah.
I'm in James's basement. Just rolling.
Yeah.
If we could, if we can afford it, if we can afford it, yeah. If somebody wanted to fund us, if somebody has like $1 billion endowment, we could just make endless movies every day. So yeah.
And the craft service would be like all the extras that are left over. And that's how we're paying fingers and little pieces of them. You eat this and then you film.
Oh yeah, this is the workings of our next movie, right?
Yeah.
So on our next interview, when you say what happened, this is what happened.
And we're like, "Where's Jeremy?" Oh, he was the craft service.
Yeah.
For the
Somebody's got to go each time.
Yeah, right, exactly. Troy's next.
Sorry, I'm driving, so the connection may cut out. And if you see me looking around, it's because I'm looking to make sure no cops are driving by.
Yeah, don't die.
Yeah,
Try not to die.
The arrested part's fine. Just don't die.
I think it would be a missed opportunity if we didn't discuss how many different types of blood that we used on this set. I hear we have James's formula with the syrup, the chocolate syrup, and sometimes it was just food coloring water. Sometimes it was we had Herschel Gordon Lewis's blood formula on your movie set, as well as a couple of other my own personal formula, and couldn't make it fast enough. We had it in 5-gallon buckets, and we're using a swimming pool water shooters to shoot it. What is that? Yeah, super soakers to shoot it, and
Yeah, I remember Colonel Clink's death scene when I'm dying and Joe Castro shoots blood right up my butt.
Shoot it up here. Did you get cut right in the middle in the groin? Didn't someone cut? Yeah, didn't someone?
Yeah, because I was laying on the ground dying, and we wanted it to come out my chest and everything, but instead it accidentally went up my butt.
Blood bidet is what we were looking for.
You just didn't know. Yeah, we didn't tell you where it was supposed to come. That's how you get the real.
There was a little micro.
That's how you get the real performances. You don't.
Exactly. That's the Stanley Kubrick technique.
Yeah.
No.
You mentioned Herschel Gordon Lewis's his recipe for blood.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just like special to you two to know this movie? Whatever movie you use that recipe.
Yeah, well, Herschel hinted at his formula before he died to a couple of people, and but my husband and I actually did a sit down, like a 90-minute sit down interview with Herschel before he died, and he divulged all these details of stuff that I'd never heard him talk about before, and he divulged the actual formula for the blood that he used in Blood Feast to us. And since then, I haven't told anybody the formula, but I will mix up bottles of it and take it to certain movie sets because it's very useful. And because we were shooting a lot of dark and colored stuff and a lot of dark fabrics, Herschel's blood formula works well on dark colored fabrics. So I thought it would be fun to bring it to James's set and to include it in the Bite School too, because the more blood the merrier, and the more different this film is like a cornucopia of vampires, and it's also it's like a kaleidoscope of blood. You get a little bit of everything. It's like everything but the kitchen sink on your pizza.
And full circle, Herschel Gordon Lewis is in the first Bite School.
Ta-da!
There you go.
There you go.
In Bite School.
Yeah.
So it's all, you know what I mean? We had a lot of
Yeah.
love for Herschel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He paved the way for all of us. So
I promise you, in this film, you probably will see some things that you've never seen before.
I think so.
I hope you haven't. I hope you haven't seen them before, because that's no.
Some may hope they never see him again.
Something-
No.
yeah, right.
no.
There's a penis monster.
Spoiler.
No, I know, spoiler. But I was just really happy because it has a face on it. It's enormous. It has a face, and we put like a light inside, and I filled it with smoke, and then it's just like smoking, and this light's pouring out.
But it's
There's some crazy stuff in here.
it's a penis monster on an Indian vampire,
Yes.
It's true.
which
So
makes
good.
it even kind of more kind of. I mean, there's there's all kinds of mashups in this film that you never dared dream of.
True.
It is.
It's
It
like
is kind of fun. Oh, I was just
No,
gonna say
go
it's
on,
really
Michael.
it's fun working with this group because I think everybody's so well versed in like lots of weird movies. So
Yeah.
you know, everybody can kind of pull references from everywhere. Like James will be like, "Oh, you know that thing in this movie," and Joe's like, "Oh yeah, okay, we could do that. We could do this." And so it was a lot of like being able to shorthand ideas and borrow ideas and kind of throw everything in and do creative things on the fly. I think because we all love horror so much.
a lot of deep like fandom homages to things that need to be acknowledged and recognized and remembered and loved and talked about still, to this day. But also, working with someone like James and Michael and Sophia and Jeremy, you never hear the word no on set. Can we do this? Yes. Should we do this? Yes. Do we want to do this? Yes. It was just, there was no, you can't do that, and it was always
James would just get the ingredients together for each night, like some outfits, a couple weirdos,
Yeah.
and, like, get us all to show up. And then it would be like a lot of freedom within that, like within like your idea for the night. And then it'd be like, okay, let's make it happen now in whatever weird way we come up with.
Hello,
Which is
Annabelle.
like has
Hi,
a lot
Annabelle.
of freedom to it. That's like fun to work in.
Yeah, I agree,
Hi,
Sophia.
Annabelle.
Hi, Annabelle.
It's
Hello,
it's also
Annabelle.
Do you want to play a seventh character in this film? Yes.
Do you want to play a troll?
Maybe.
You're
Also the-
hired.
there were some strange characters showed up
Oh my
sometimes,
God.
and you know what?
They're
Like,
great.
We weren't sure at the time sometimes, but they're great in the movie. Like there's a whole bunch of things that I think like it was kind of like you can't really control everything, right? You just kind of put stuff out there and you kind of see what happens. And some of the surprises I think are like some of my favorite things in this movie.
Well, there's a lot of improv, like from the cast of weirdos that James would have show up at his house. He'd just be like, okay, here's the premise. Just improv who you are. And the stuff people would say was so incredible. You couldn't have written it to be funnier than it was and as awkward and weird as it was. So it really worked for some reason.
And I think everybody.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and everybody on set had such huge personalities.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you really never see the same thing twice. There was never the same vampire twice. I mean, everybody had a really, really distinct interpretation of whatever it was they were doing. And we have French vampires, and we have nerdy vampires, and we have all kinds of crazy vampires in the film that are just, that's just the name, just two. But everybody had their own little thing going, little show going, which was great.
What were you gonna say, Annabelle?
I was going to say, I find it hard to believe that James Balsamo had any strange people over to his house.
I think a few of them scared even you, James.
Oh yeah, well, I have a great story if we have a second. So I had met somebody in Studio City that said they were a casting director, and I said, "Hey, I'm making a vampire movie. If you know anybody that wants to be a vampire, I'd love to have them." And so there is a local homeless person that visits a restaurant in Studio City that I frequent. They just kind of walk around the area, so I've seen them in their homelessness, which isn't a problem, very nice. And when we were filming vampires, they showed up where we were filming, and I was like, "Oh, can I help you?" And they were like, "Oh, the casting director sent me here." And I was like, "Oh, you're that local homeless person." come on in. And and they had a great performance.
He was awesome. Yeah.
You don't need to have a home to have a personality.
No.
So,
He was one of my
very-
favorite parts. He really
and,
is.
you know, I still see them, and they were like, "Oh, when's the movie coming out?" I'm like, "Don't worry, I'll get you a copy." So you never know, and all are welcome. Homeless, weirdos, degenerates, come on down. We'll put you in Vampire
Come on
Bacon.
down. I love that.
That's all of us here.
Yeah.
Vampire.
Right? I was gonna say maybe even
We
Neil.
love everybody here at S and Beth Production.
Well, you said maybe Neil, Annabelle. I always say that Once a Feature Smash and End Zone 2 my first movies, but honestly, the first movie I was in is a James Balsamo movie.
Mhm.
So I should give more credit to James.
Which film?
That's okay. But yeah, Troy's in Cool as Hell with you. Cool as Hell
Cool as Hell
too.
too. Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah,
hope
I gained
you can all
180
work on
pounds for that
Cool as
movie.
Hell 3. And Annabelle, we got to get you in a movie. So
I'll do it. I can't promise success, but I'll try.
oh, don't worry. With this group, we always have success. Mostly the suck part, but extras.
So when you talk about everyone, improv and come up with their own characters, you don't really know what's going on. What's that process then when you're going to edit the movie together?
Well, that's Michael's problem. So
Okay,
I
Here you
usually
go.
edit all of my own disasters, but Michael was so generous to take over this. lovely-
I tried to, like you look at a bunch of, there's sort of a story, there's sort of a through line. So I try to start with that and then kind of piece together, like, how do we explain why we have these various things? And I did my best to construct something that was, that made sense and also had just like the right level of kind of like fun and, treating a movie as kind of like a roller coaster of like, okay, there's this big moment and then we kind of get somewhere, to lull down and then we have another big moment and it kind of escalates to the end when we have the final kind of confrontation. So yeah, I mean, I obviously talked to James a lot and got a lot of feedback and trying to piece it together, but it's very different than editing a movie where you're just starting with a script and just kind of like doing the stuff that's in the scripts. And then we shot extra, we'd have a cut and we'd be like, okay, let's shoot some more stuff to fill in some gaps here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge. It was like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Where we made up our own pieces. It didn't have any.
That's how I ended up in it. I wasn't in it. And Mike was like, it'd be better if we just explain this a little bit. I'm the explainer in films now.
So you have
Your
a
official role.
large role in crafting the actual story of the film from your position.
Yeah, well, I think James gave us writing credits, which I was surprised about.
Yeah, I think because, I mean, editing is always a kind of almost like a writing role. You're almost always kind of constructing or reconstructing the story. But yeah, in the case where it's like not really, there's not really a clear plan or the plan, there was a clear plan, but we got all this other stuff or deviate, which is fine. I mean, that's what makes this fun. I think it's what makes this unique is that it's not structured like just doesn't have like a 3-act, plain thing. It's just kind of like, you don't know what kind of chaotic, crazy, entertaining thing is going to happen next. You really don't. I mean, you never know. And suddenly, there's a mime vampire and suddenly there's Krampus. And I think, the people who've watched it and given feedback and reviews and stuff have really enjoyed that kind of like, I had no idea what to expect. I got to the end. I didn't know what this movie was going to be. And I'm
still
surprised by where we got.
Herschel used to call that being wild and unpredictable.
There you go.
Something I think we all enjoy in films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, a real question for James. So Michael and Sophia are talking about like how this is different from like stuff they usually do. How does it make it different for you making a movie with some new people with Michael and Sophia? Does that change how you make a movie or the experience?
Honestly, these people aren't friends of mine. They are family. Like, this movie really brought us together. And like Michael said earlier, we all love the same thing. You know what I mean? We are all brothers and sisters in horror and what we love. And so it's beautiful to hang out with people that get it. You know what I mean? It's like hanging out with people that listen to the same bands as you. You're like, oh my God, you know this album? Because I tell people and they just look at me like, I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? So if I talk about like a weird 80s obscure horror film, they're like, "Oh, I love that one." And have you seen this one? And like we'd go back and forth. Like one of my favorite moments on set is when we were just hanging out talking about like weird movies we had seen. It's like, "Oh, I want to make a movie like this." It's like, "Did you see that one?" It's like, "Oh, let's make a weird space movie." Like we were already talking about what we're going to do next. That's how much fun we are. It's like a band writing an album and it's like, "Oh, this album's great. Let's do a space concept album next." Like we were already planning the next, you know what I mean? Before we even got through this, because it was so fun. You know what I mean? So, you know, it really was a beautiful experience. I mean, I've done so many films where I'm like dragging everybody into my wild imagination, but like these guys all see the same weird colors I see. So I don't have to explain it like a shrimp, where it's like, "What? You don't see this weird zebra with spots?" And they're like, "Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, let's have a penis monster with a face on it." And then Sophia and Michael are like, "Let's put smoke in it." And then Joe's like, "Hold on, I'm gonna put blood in your eyes." Like, it's like they're all painters, right? And then together we painted this beautiful monster mosaic with our own special colors that brought this thing, you know, to insanity. And everybody that's seen it so far, it's not even out. I've only sent it to a few reviewers and everyone loves it because it's weird. And we all have our hands in the weirdo pot, which I love. I love these people. I love hanging out with them. I love making monster movies with them or whatever we do. You know what I mean? Like Michael and Sophia, we made a music video for Kellen and that was weird. And Joe and I have done so many projects over the years. And Jeremy and I, like, we all hang out separately and do our own weird things. But when we come together, it's the best.
Working together as a team is an awesome experience.
It does feel like a family. I consider all of you my family, even you, Annabelle, and Troy and Neil. Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to double down on that because I know the only people I knew coming in was Mike and Sophia, who I love dearly. But then, like, I truly love James. He's like a brother now. And it feels weird that I just met him at the start of filming this movie because it feels like years. And we're like working on music together and we're working on all kinds of different things together. And Joe, I also love Joe so much. And then I got to hang out with Joe outside of the set at James's birthday party and things like that. And so, yeah, it really was. I didn't know what I was walking into at the beginning, but I came out with so many great friends.
Yeah.
That I love dearly.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime I'm around James, it does feel like years. No, I love James. He knows it.
I want to take a moment and thank James for putting me into. I don't even know if it was an actual costume, but I think it was like a decorative, like a suit of armor, like this decorative suit of armor that he got. I don't know where you got where you got that from, but it wasn't. I don't think it was actually meant to be worn by a human being. But he put me in a metal suit of armor at one point. I think I went down on my knee. In the shot, and I'm like, come get me, I'm falling over. And they literally I could not stand up. Was like literally was falling over, gonna fall over to the ground.
I love that. I love that scene though, because there's like skulls burning on crosses like next to you. It looks so epic.
We literally burnt skeletons in his backyard. Yeah. Half the backyard was on fire. We're just like, yeah, action, keep going, yeah.
And then the old lady. The old lady would yell at us from the apartment building. Wrap it up.
That's a wrap.
So
you got to get her in the next one.
She's not concerned about like things are on fire. She's just like, okay, time's over.
Noise.
Yeah. That was funny.
You need to get her in the next one, James.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of your neighbors were in the movie.
Yeah.
All the cool neighbors were in the new. They would wander over.
It's true, they were, yeah.
So that giant bat head behind you, which you talked about earlier. So Joe, how long does that take to make something like that?
Well, I don't remember. I think I had like a week and a half to begin to prepare to do everything. So it was kind of doing it all at the same time. You know, I think I did the bat head and giant bat wings that were huge bat wings at one point, because James actually gets on that and rides that like the Never-Ending Story and in the film. And there were robot there was a robot Dracula's robot costume, and then there was the big statue behind you with the snake, the kissing snake
Yeah.
faces in the background. That thing, and there was a couple of other things. Of course, there was Michael's makeup with the fangs, and I kind of did like you said tin foil, and didn't I glue little blinking lights or little yeah, wasn't there one blinking light I glued on the first day?
Yeah.
And then we used those glow sticks, and I glued glow sticks to your head at some point. And then we had the cod piece with the wasp circular blade out of the groin, and yeah, you just name it. Oh, also John Karras is in the film, and I had this head. That head's been in so many films, but we put this giant, like 12-inch drill into John's eye socket, and you name it. Just vampires, melting vampires, vampire aliens, vampire statues, vampires, mutant vampires, brain vampires. What other vampires do we have in it?
It's like Forrest Gump of vampires.
We had the mime vampire. We had Nazi vampires. We had burnt vampires. We had you name it. Just zombie vampires, green vampires. Robot vampires, and robot vampire assistants.
Don't forget Krampus.
Oh, we had Krampus was in it as well, and werewolves. Just all kinds of gore, all kinds of strange gore. We had priests. Yeah, we had priests. We had
trolls.
We had trolls. Troll vampires.
Hip hop vampire troll.
No, we had rapping. We had rapping vampires, vampire assistants, decapitated vampires, vampire sacrifices. What else? Yeah. That's just to name a couple.
I was say when you ask the question, Neil, about how long does it take?
Oh yeah,
I would rephrase it to how long does it take Joe, because I know you work so fast.
Yeah, it takes as long as I have before I have to get him in front of the camera. So when the idea starts, the time he has to be in front of the camera, that's as long as it takes. It's literally, sometimes I get about a week or two. For the big stuff, James and I talk about it like a week or so before, and we plan. But day of, I'm like, how many vampires you got coming? We got about 10. Okay, and we're gonna do this kind of scenario. So I kind of James and I understand each other that because we're so free-spirited artists, and I think Sophia and Michael understand this as well. That we hate to do the same thing twice. We want to do something new every time. So it's like, even if you ask me to make a vampire twice the same one, it's like I'd rather pull my nails off. So it's always trying to reinvent the wheel and do something cool and unique. So yeah, it takes what it takes. But normally, as a real artist, I'd like to just it's kind of like a doodle, like a really cool doodle, and we get it in front of the camera and then run with it. Yeah.
I gotta give Joe so much credit because I had just met him on this set, like I said before. And now I just love him so much, and such a good friend. But I, had never. I don't normally act. I only act in James Balsamo movies now. But
exclusive contract.
So I've never. So I've never been in prosthetics and things and makeup and things like that. And so Joe just does such a spectacular job in such a limited time frame, like he was saying. And I'd have pictures from set, or some stills after a shoot day that James would send me, and I would show it to a friend or something, and they'd be like, "Whoa, how long did that take?" And I'm like 20 minutes, because it's Joe Castro, and he can do it in lickety split.
Well, also
I was sitting in the chair for 3 hours.
Yeah. Also, I like the idea that y'all can take it off quickly if you need to. So I'd like to put it on so it's easy on, easy off. I want people to have fun, and by the time we're halfway through one idea, we already have another great idea on set that we're wanting to try to execute, which kind of feeds into itself, and that's why I think each scene kind of feeds into itself of one great idea to the next, and then you have such amazing, colorful characters like Jeremy and Michael in their get-ups, really brings the makeups to life. Yeah, it's really important. You can put great makeup on somebody, but if they're not willing to really bring that crazy thing to life, then half the battle's lost. So I think we really hit a lot of home runs with everyone that you were able to cast in the film, putting crazy stuff on them. They did not shy away from doing exactly what they needed to do in front of the camera.
I want to say the greatest challenge is talking with these weird teeth in.
Oh yeah, no, seriously.
So everybody who has to talk. So like, if you have a role that's a speaking role, you have to kind of like learn how to cheat your way of talking. And I found that I had to kind of like yell or do like a certain kind of high pitched, certain thing that got me to where I didn't, where I wasn't bothered by the teeth. I was able to enunciate words, but it's tricky. Yeah, that's the trickiest part. I guess if you practice for days wearing it or something, maybe it's easier. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, you said that like you taught people to like make their own fangs.
Yeah. So on this set, I knew that because we worked fast and furious on the set, and James had gotten a whole slew of these that name brand those fangs that people use, and they're really good, but only if you have the time to really baby them if they fall out and this sort of thing. And I wanted to make sure that wasn't happening on set. So I invented a new way to custom put these things in your mouth so that way they wouldn't come out. And as everybody walked in on set, I had everybody grab a set of fangs, and I would do like a little demonstration. There they are. A little demonstration of how to make these fangs. So they would go in, and then, I would show like 3 people how to do it, and then they would go into the bathroom and do it. And then new people would come in, and I'd say, go into the bathroom and watch them do what they're doing. And they would teach the next person, and so on and so on. And in this way, everybody had their own custom set of vampire fangs. And I think, Jeremy, you had a great set, because I think, what was it, one of your fangs like slightly off, like the number, there wasn't 5 and 6, it was like 5 and 4. So you had this really goofy kind of vampire thing.
That's because I was dumb and I made a mistake, and then you're like, no, it's perfect. And then that's when we decided that my zombie vampire was going to be shot through the head, so I wouldn't have to talk, and it made sense for one of the fangs to be off. And then it also made me not have to talk with the fangs in, like Mike was saying, which was hard. I just make noises. But yeah, I mean, Joe's such a good teacher that he was. You could be vampire fang certified within 5 minutes, and then they were teaching other people. Like our friend Alex taught me how to do mine when I came in, because Joe taught her. So suddenly he's teaching teachers how to put vampire fangs in.
Yeah, it was a real treat. I'll be honest with you. It was a real beautiful experience to be able to kind of like play in that realm together with people, with a whole bunch of people that obviously the love for the art and the love for the genre, to come in, and everybody gets to make their own custom set of vampire fangs, invent their own vampire character, wear crazy vampire makeup, get covered in all kinds of wonderful blood on in James's backyard, and with Sophia and Michael's amazing lighting and cinematography, which takes a cult film to the next level. I think that's the one thing that this film really, really has going for it. Yes, it is a cult film shot in someone's backyard, basically, but it is beautifully executed. Yes.
Did you keep your fangs, Jeremy?
I did actually. I still have them at home. I mean, not on me, unfortunately. I don't keep them in the glove box.
I didn't mean you're just wearing them all the time.
I have mine over here.
You gotta learn to speak.
I have them at home. I have my. I do have my Dave Gould costume on me at the moment. And then of course my cyborg bat Satanico head is behind James.
I think I got a pair right here.
Yeah, I've got my fangs, my regular pair of fangs with the wax placement thing, and then I've also got my that opening character who's doing the ritual. I've got don't copy my teeth here, but I've got my whatever these are. I guess they're fangs too. They're sort of a different kind of teeth.
Wow, very cool.
I was trying to convince James, since we are shooting in his backyard a lot, to like do like a fake foam facade on the back of his house that looks like a castle. And I was like, that way I can shoot that way too. Instead of always having to shoot the same direction.
We made
Night
it work.
School 3. We'll get the budget for that.
Yeah,
Anybody
yeah.
that wants
I'm gonna come over and start
$7,
painting
we will
some
buy a piece of
styrofoam.
foam.
I think I went through I want to say 4 pair of fangs on your set, and these are the only ones I have left.
Oh, fantastic.
Ooh.
Oh, they look great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
You were
Oh,
also
those are
silver
awesome.
for a big portion of the movie too.
Yeah, any hits with the silver paint?
Oh yeah, that silver paint was a nightmare to get off. Jesus, I had no idea. I remember I put it on the first day, and it was like what it was. I thought it was basic water-based makeup, but it wasn't. It's this bizarre, like really professional, Tin Man, like MGM studio makeup, and it like was in my hair, in my beard, and I was like kind of like shimmering the next day out in public. It didn't come off. All of it didn't come off, and towards the end, I was using. To be honest with you, I was using like that silver paint you get from Michael's in the little little bottle that's 99 cents. So you can just come off really easy.
James, how many different Joe Castro creations do you have in your house?
A lot. I have a lot. I love working with Joe. Joe makes so many wonderful creatures for me. So, Joe is so busy doing his own movies and his own creatures. I wish I could chain Joe to, my attic and just have him slave away on these amazing monsters.
That's a running theme here. You just want to imprison everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love these people. I want to keep them and make movies all day, every day. It's so fun. So,
Well, when are we going to make a whole feature in one day?
I've been doing that with Dice Star. I'm ready. Let's do. We're gonna do
I
that
like
video.
Sophia's eyes when you said
Remember we were talking
that.
about the video store movie?
I'm always like, should we get another shot? And they're like, nah.
We get another
I'm
angle.
so ingrained in narrative. Like, we gotta get this shot and this shot and this shot. It's like
We
one
got
of
good.
those.
Time is money. Let's
You get one shot.
Yeah, we're good. Moving on. And action. I'm ready, Joe. One day feature. Let's do
a
this.
one-day feature. I recently saw a one-act play in West Hollywood that was amazing. It's like a one-act play. It was an original one-act play written by this 24-year-old girl, and it stars I forget who it was. Very talented two young men, and I was surprised. If you could write a film that could be shot in that kind of way as a one-act play, and
Right?
it
Who are
was
you talking to, Joe?
you could like literally write it, but then you have to have, yeah. Anyway,
cast
it can be
it.
done. It can be done. You can make a whole feature in one day.
I'm
It can
ready.
be done. Do you want to make a whole feature in one day? That's the thing. Oof.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Sophia's down, I think.
Do a whole feature in one day. Yeah,
So
no, I think it can be done. I think it should be
All
done.
right, let's sit down. We'll write it. We'll get Troy and Neil and Annabelle in it, and we'll do it all in one day.
One day. We'll shoot in one day. And then well,
How
yeah,
long is the
I
day?
have some
72
ideas. I have some ideas. Say that again.
72-hour long day.
Yeah. Well,
Like, how many hours are in this one day?
yeah, it's like
As long as you
25
don't go to sleep,
Yeah, as
it's
long as
still
you don't
one
go to
day.
sleep, it's
Yeah.
the same day.
Hey,
When you're locked in James' basement, you don't know if it's day or
Yeah,
night.
just
So no one
it's
knows.
still Tuesday, guys.
Well,
Yep.
the last day I shot for the original Terror Tunes was a 25 hours day. We shot the first day was the regular 12-hour day, and then the second day was a 17-hour day, and then we had to finish it on the third day, so it was a 25-hour day. So it can be done.
Damn.
Yeah. Of course, I was 31 years old. I had a little more energy back then. I don't know if I could do that today. Of course I could. We could do it. Of course you could.
we'll do it. We'll do it.
Why don't we just split it across a couple days instead?
Yeah. Is there
like we're
some
getting
rule that it
paid.
has to be in this one day?
It's not like we're getting paid by the hour. So.
The fatherly words of reason coming through.
Yeah.
Take all
I've been
the
on
fun
those
out of it.
27-hour days of cam opping for 20 on my feet,
God, yeah.
handheld for 27 hours, and
Just as
I'm
long
good
as
to
there's
not do that. I'm good
yeah,
to not.
as long as there's no real weapons or power tools on set, I think we'll be okay.
There you go.
What were there any real weapons in Bite School too?
Why weren't there?
Why were there any?
Oh,
No, why didn't you just start killing everybody?
We have a new rule here: no
I
real weapons.
I really don't like to work with real weapons.
I
I've
don't
heard
think
so
so.
many horror stories, and I've been lucky enough to play with foam knives and guns. So, and they work on screen. So why put somebody at risk? You know what I mean?
agree, I
There's so
agree.
many
Yeah.
But we
fortunate-
did have a real drill when we drilled out John.
We had a real drill, but I don't think we put it on anybody. Or
No, we went into
a lot
a
of
fake head.
reverse footage. So if we did use anything real, we always pull it away so it's safer. Safety first. So
Yeah. No, I agree.
we're only pretending to murder people.
I thought this was a documentary. I didn't realize.
I think that baguette
That's
was
one day
real.
movie.
Yeah, that was a sharp baguette. That
Yeah.
baguette got a little.
I know.
I was gonna say the only weapons were James's dad jokes. Those things slay.
Oh,
they
God.
cut right through you.
He's done books and books and books of those jokes.
Oh yeah,
And the fire was real.
the fire was real. Yeah, we
There,
had
there are some elements of actual suspense and terror in this film. There's some real stuff in it, you know.
Oh yeah, I prefer the practical, but I just want to keep everybody not bleeding for real because there's so much fake, Herschel Gordon Lewis blood recipes. Like, why waste real blood?
But when I bring it to set, I like to bring it in like a, I don't know why. I like to bring it in like a, I don't remember, but I brought it in an Elmer's glue bottle, like an old school like Elmer's glue bottle, so you can spray it, you put it there like that. Kind of reminds me of something like Herschel might do back in the day.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like having conversations with Herschel about the things he did, it was just like what we're talking about right now. Just like having fun on set and doing what he loved and doing something that people told him he couldn't do. You shouldn't be doing it that way, or that's not right, or that's too tasteless, or that's too extreme. You're like, no, come on, let's do it. In one day, yes, come on. I mean,
Joe's all about the one day. Yeah.
Herschel wrote, directed, created the special effects for, shot, composed all the music, and cast and produced the Blood Feast himself. Yeah, the original.
Not
Blood
in one
Feast.
day though.
Probably not in one day. But he did tell me this funny story about when he was doing the Wizard of Gore. He there's a scene that's not in the film where they got a goat carcass and they took it to this guy's house where he thought they had permission to film in the house. And they took the carcass there and then they used like gobs and gobs of derma wax to sculpt like a human form on the carcass because they were going to like cut it up or do something with it on set. And the owner of the house showed up they had this animal carcass in the middle of the house covered in derma wax. They were going to do some crazy scene and they literally all ran. They scattered like rats, he said, because they did not have permission to be there to do that.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
yeah.
I love that story.
Yeah, I'm a huge Herschel Gordon Lewis fan. I've told this story before, but so we had him on a couple times on the show, and the last time we had him on, it was we weren't doing video yet, but he happened to be on video, so we could see him on video. And when he came in dressed in a 3-piece suit, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't going to be on video; it's just going to be audio." We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you mind if I get comfortable?" Like, "No, that's fine." And so he reached up and loosened his tie like a half an inch, and then.
That was
I was like, okay.
So fun. Such a fun man. Yeah, absolutely. And, today we wouldn't use a real animal carcass, obviously,
Right.
because we are talented. There's no need to do that. But, they were still learning back in the day. And, I look back at some of the stuff and when I'm watching the old films, I'm like, look, that was what influenced me. See, they were bad influencers. They were bad, influenced me bad. That's why I did that stuff. Today we don't have to do that. We are skilled. We have special effects. We can do all that stuff without it. And but well, I guess we all had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he paved the road for I think he paved the road for us, making movies that we want to make without the influence of studios or other people telling us you can't do that. That's not right. That doesn't look right. That's not mainstream. That's not normal. The casting's wrong. No, all this stuff. We make the films that we love.
I wonder, you always have a lot of fun cameos in your movie, James, and I think Arn Anderson does a great job. I think he might be one of these fellow weirdos that you could.
Four Horsemen, yeah. Arn was amazing to work with. I'm a big wrestling guy, so it was an honor to get Arn in there, and I had to nudge him with the Four Horsemen bit. Is four, you know what I mean? So he played along with it. There was no hesitation. He was like, "What are we doing?" I'm like, just go with it. And I mean, pro wrestling's all, mostly ad libs. You get a little bit. It's kind of the same way I make a movie. You have a little bit, and then you just go for it. We're live.
What they call bullet points.
Action. Yeah, exactly. And action. And so Arn was, he was right there. It was great. It's great to work with Arn. And, give him an axe. So he got to cut up some people and stuff like that. So, it's awesome.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. He's a cut up dress.
Yeah, you should have gave him scissors.
Yeah, right.
We have to take off because we have to go to a movie, but I don't want to mess with the thing. But thanks so much for having us, and James, thanks for having us as part of this crazy adventure of this movie. And I hope that people will watch it when it's out next week.
Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you guys for being
Thanks
here.
Thanks for all your beautiful work, Sophia and Michael. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Something to film.
See you all soon.
Yeah, I might see you next week. I don't know.
Perhaps you will.
Not
Yeah.
me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Not me. I also have to hop off. I'm going to the same movie.
Oh, okay.
What is this movie that you are seeing?
We're
Fightful
all
Goes
going.
West.
I'm at Mike and Sophia's right. We're actually seeing an advanced screening of Bite School 3. Over. No.
Joe just made it while we were doing the show.
I know Catherine, the log lady. That's a documentary, Twin Peaks documentary.
Oh, I thought you were just bragging that you knew her, but okay.
But thanks so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Great.
Yeah.
Been great.
See you, Jeremy. He's been multiple names here throughout the show. I like that.
I keep changing.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
So the giant battle at the end is pretty amazing. There's like 1 million people there, and just so much stuff going on. So what was that like to film? It seems very hectic.
Oh, honestly, easy. Joe made all these incredible vampires and the gore. That was like one day, right, Joe? We did that all in the
That's
big.
what Joe's saying. One day movie. Yeah.
Versus all the vampires. That was one day.
I think if I remember correctly, we killed people one day, but then those same people came back the next day, and I dressed them up as different vampires, and then they came in and played more vampires that were killed by your Bite Squad in the same scene because we just did different makeups and different stuff and all over them, and if I think I remember, I think that's what happened. Yeah,
we had same people come back, play multiple vampires, and then Joe did all these incredible original mutant vampires. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie is all those original vampires. You know what I mean? I wanted more screen time of those characters. Like they look amazing, and then I murdered them. So
I love all that old like Paul Naschy Hammer styled vampire stuff. I've been really engrossed in that on the streaming services nowadays. And what was it? We were talking. I was talking in a group about how things look cheap. I'm like, things didn't have to look amazing to be entertaining. I mean, things didn't have to look like super high budget to be entertaining. What really keeps us going back to those old films was the imagination behind them.
Yes.
Like they were so imaginative, the brain that wouldn't die. This Frankenstein versus Dracula. I'm just now watching the one with Paul Naschy, and there's the mummies in it too. There's a Frankenstein monster, there's like a guy who's an alien who's trying to bring them all together. It was just this like wild, imaginative storylines, and I think that's like the spirit of what James does with his movie, with this film.
Along those, I always get annoyed when people talk about that. Like if they see a modern movie and they say it look cheap, or whatever, but yet always talk about all these movies that they love from the past that looked really cheap, but but we all love them, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
effects. There's such a push for practical effects, and it's like not all practical effects have millions of dollar budgets behind them.
But the practical effects, I always say in the show and stuff, like they have a charm to them, even if they're not necessarily the best.
Yeah, like that mutant nebula, that big head from This Island Earth, that monster.
Oh, hell yeah.
We wouldn't have
Yeah.
we wouldn't have Ridley Scott's Alien without that monster.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's true.
That monster, the whole suit, the whole thing with the head, we wouldn't have, that is obviously from that, and the creature from the Black Lagoon, we wouldn't have that without the creature from the Black Lagoon. So that came from that. Yeah, you can see that, but we still love. I mean, look at the creature from the Black Lagoon. We still love it. We still love those things, and people will be revisiting that from now to the end of time, So just pour some practical effects on it. It'll be just fine.
Yeah. Little toilet paper and latex goes a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I prefer to use silicone now on people's skin because of, obviously latex allergies, but because silicone peels off much more easily. And I want people to have fun when they're in makeups. I want them to feel comfortable. I want, like, even when I put gore on especially when I put gore on a girl's face, I let them look at it in the mirror and I say, do you like that? Does that, because I want them to still feel kind of sexy. Even if it's bloody, I want them to feel good in it. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, yeah. They get really excited about it, and especially if I have to do like scratches on their face or something, I'll put it on. I'll say, look at it. Is there anything about it you want me to change? I want you to feel sexy in it. And
I felt sexy as Krampus when Joe did my makeup.
Oh, that was like one of my favorite characters in the film. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're always sexy, James.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. There's a great punch through a monster's head. It's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, Joe made that head, and then Michael did a little bit of augmentation on it to make it all come together. So, but yeah, Joe made that head, and I was like, I have to punch it. I have to punch this face.
I brought like a 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot with paper mache like paste in it and slime, and I'm like trying to fill that head up for you to punch into it, I think, or something. Like, we got to use this slime. I made it. I think we got to find some way to put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically every day I would every time I would come to set, we'd have a certain kind of a formula of what we wanted to do that day. Little text back and forth story, but then I would bring a whole bunch of stuff and I say, hey, we can kind of play with this, play with that. What do you think? And James would find some place to put it, or we come up with a scenario where we could use something and shoot it from this angle and just put it in there and have fun. This kind of reminded me of making films with my friends back in like middle school and high school, when I got my first video camera. So
when people are willing to just be playful.
Yeah. In some ways, I think I was, because my imagination was never influenced by someone telling me no or someone judging me. That some of the things I did back in high school were far more imaginative and inventive than some of the stuff I do today. So getting back to those roots is a very beautiful experience.
Awesome.
Anytime Joe comes up to anybody off the show or even on the show, I always mention that, like, you're so passionate about monsters and creatures, effects, all stuff in it, and that comes through not only when you're here, but it comes through on the movies. Like, this is fun. He loves doing this, and I think even if you don't know I think that comes through when you're watching something you made.
Oh yeah.
Where I've watched stuff where, for me, like, the worst kind of movie to watch is it might technically be well made or something, but if like it's just the same haunted house movie that I've seen a million times, and no one seems like they're not having fun. They're just making a movie to make a movie or something, and that's like the most boring thing to watch. But when it's clear everyone's having a good time and they're all wanting to make something crazy and weird, like, that comes through.
I agree 100%, but I appreciate you saying that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah,
and James he's not a bad guy himself.
No, not at all. You know, I like to believe that my job is to make my boss look cool.
Mm.
That's my job on set.
Yeah.
I'll add some sunglasses. Yeah.
My job is to make my boss and the people around me look and feel cool. You know.
Sunglasses and a
You're
fart
so
shirt.
cool. It's
you're good to
easy
go.
for you, Joe.
I probably asked this before, James, but when was the first time you and Joe worked together? Like, how did this, how did it come about? You guys did stuff?
It Wants Blood was our first feature film, and I was looking for somebody to make this giant elephant monstrosity, and Joe took it on, head on. He made this giant creature, and then we made the sequel, and I've been working with Joe ever since. So what has it been, 5-6 years, something like that? Joe and I have been working together
8 years. It's already been 8 years.
8 years.
Maybe 7.
That's
maybe 7.
wild.
Yeah, 7, 8 years. That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's still one of my favorite films of yours for sure. It Wants Blood. I think it's if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Where can they get it? Where can they watch that, James?
Streaming on Amazon Prime right now.
Oh, It Wants Blood is streaming on Amazon Prime. Yeah, I think that's a very good. If you love creatures and you love cult movies, that's a good a must see. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of a touching story. It's a touching story between monsters and their keeper. I think is what it is. You know. Yeah. And the
there's claymation in it. There's all kind of stop motion.
Everything.
I feel like the monsters aren't really the monsters in the film are the ones that are the most humane, and the people are the actual monsters.
It's true.
The other way around, yeah.
As it usually is.
Yeah, you have sympathy for the monsters, and the humans are really the real bad.
That's usually my favorite kind. Like Universal monster movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Our next guest later and coming up in a little bit, he wanted to say hello, Billy Coyne.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, Billy.
How's it going, guys?
I know Billy a long time. Good to see you, Billy.
Good to see you. I remember last time I did an effect on you. I ripped your jar off.
That's right.
Damn, I'm glad that it's better now, James.
It's true. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's why he grew the beard to cover up the scar.
That's right. The missing jaw.
Yeah, that was a fun effect. Yeah.
Billy's my jaws of life, or death, I should say.
What movie was that for Billy?
Groundhog.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Groundhog by David Maggot McDonough.
Yeah.
Yeah, David Maggot McDonough. Yeah.
Yeah, I am a fan of that movie, and I talk about it every once in a while. We played it on the show. We played it on Without Your Head a couple times. He let us, stream the movie. But yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I think I was on your show. I think way back when.
Oh yeah, you were actually. James might have been on the same show.
David's in the director's cut of Bite School too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Joe Castro. Hello.
Hey, Billy, how you doing? I think this is our first time really talking with each other, even though we've been friends for quite a while.
I'm with that the visual medium.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm always interested in having other effects artists do effects on me. So maybe sometime in the future we'll get a chance to work together. Yeah. I've only had a couple. I think I've only had two makeup artists do makeup on me, and I love it. I love it's nice to be futzed over like that, because I've been doing it on other people, so it's nice to kind of be futzed over,
Yeah, I mean, for between Savini's and the makeup designer, sitting in that makeup chair, and then vice versa. So it's wonderful when you're learning the craft with other people that have the passion for it as well.
Our mutual friend here, Craig Muckler on Facebook, he's saying hello to everybody, and he wanted to mention he's in the scene with Eric Roberts in It Wants Blood, in one of the scenes with Eric.
Very nice.
Craig Muckler is also in the director's cut of Bite School too, so be on the lookout for my buddy and producer of Microwave Massacre, writer, producer of your cult classic.
A Small World episode on Without
Greg's
Your
a good dude. Yeah, he's been on a few times. We're going to get him back on the show here eventually. And he also wants to mention Mark and Clark, I believe, that he's making with.
Oh yeah, I made a movie called Mark and Clark World Adventurers, and the great Joe Estevez is in it. And so, I hope all of us, Joe Castro and Joe Estevez and Billy Coyne and Troy and Annabelle and Neal, can all be in Mark and Clark World Adventurers Part 2.
Let's do it. Let's do it up. Yeah.
I like
I
that.
hope you have a big dungeon to keep everybody.
I do,
Sign me up. Sign me up. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to have to bow out, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your Thursday.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, everybody, for having me on the show. Annabelle, Troy, Neal, James,
Joe,
Billy. It's
before
great
you
seeing
go,
you.
I love you,
before you go, when people were talking greatness about you, is that you always are so warm, and you talk about like when you mentioned, well, I want to do things to make a woman feel sexy, and I want to do this so people feel good, and having that part in there, like it's not just like your enthusiasm is awesome, and also that it's not just you're putting stuff on people. It's like a connection with the people that you're putting it on.
Thank you for pointing that out. I really appreciate that. And I really feel if I can leave this world better than it was when I arrived here, that I will have done my part. And so that's just kind of like something I aim for. So, anyways, everybody have a beautiful rest of your night. Love you all. Love you, fam. Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, James, Bite School 2 is coming out next week on jamesbalsamo.com. On other websites, you can get it too. Walmart,
FYE, wherever movies are sold. And go get that and my other 554 film products. I've got not one, but two film companies now, Asabath Productions and TriStar Pictures.
Which has an amazing T-shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. We're going to have to send you guys some. So
I'll happily send you without your head shirt or an Arbor Day shirt, maybe.
Fair trade. Done and done. So, Billy, I hope we get to work on something else soon. It's been way too long, my friend. So, I don't want to chew up Billy's time.
No, I think he's frozen. But
oh, he's there. I see him.
Oh, okay. I thought he was saying something to James before we let James go. Were you about to say something, Billy?
No, I was just saying it's just been way too long. But yeah, I mean,
okay.
It's great seeing.
All right, James, you're welcome on the show anytime, as you know.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Take care. Always a pleasure.
And I love you, James, even if I joked a couple times on the show.
Yeah.
And my hair is nice, the non-hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm growing mine hair out a little bit for a movie, actually, but all right.
Yeah, all right, guys. Thanks.
See ya.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right. And now I'm still Nasty Neal.
I remain Terrible Troy.
And this is Annabelle Lecter.
And this is the station of decapitation without your head. And thank you to the fine folks at Bite School 2. And I apologize to many of the cast members. I thought Michael was inviting them. Michael thought I was inviting them. And so it didn't quite work out. But maybe down the road we'll have them all back on. And now we're joined by actor, effects artist, Billy Coyne. It's good to have you here.
How's it going, everyone?
Very well.
What are all those toys behind you?
Puppet Master figures.
Sweet. Neal, can you blow it up? Because I can't see any of the stuff that's going on there. And I feel like there's a lot to see.
Is it my phone?
Oh, wow.
I tried going on my laptop. My browser wasn't working.
No, it's all right. But yeah, no, there's tons of toys.
Oh, yeah, all kinds of cool.
Puppet Master. So what is it about Puppet Master specifically? Because I know you wear Puppet Master shirts. You've got all the action figures.
Well, I mean, it just goes back to the origins of why I even got into this crazy industry. The two biggest names from most of my influences growing up were Jim Henson and Charlie Band. I mean, Jim Henson, of course, we all grew up on. And by the age of 10, Charlie Band was a household name because I became obsessed with all the puppet characters that he was coming up with. And he was also using stop motion animation. I mean, I'm going to be 43 this year. So some of these movies are a little older, like with the Subspecies series and, even earlier stuff like Stuart Gordon's Dolls, which is one of my personal favorites. And I think the killer toy subgenre, I think, is just a lot of fun. And either way, I wanted to be a stop motion animator, but stop motion was kind of becoming old hat by the time I was in school. So special effects makeup definitely seemed like a nice, natural, organic path to get into opticals, but still doing practical makeup effects, which I find so much fun. And you just never know because every script is different of what series of effects you're going to be coming up with, and that's always the fun thing about this business.
And I imagine it's not even just the script, but what the person wants is going to be so different from creator to creator, and something that maybe you would have a particular idea about is going to change depending on who you're working with.
Oh, of course. That's inevitable. And I've been fortunate where I feel like being an independent, I guess, freelancer to a degree, it's nice when you can find a stable of like a production house. And when I first came back to Boston from California, I found these different production houses, and I started doing short films straight out of the gate. And between two production houses in 3 years, I did 15 short films.
Wow.
That really kind of laid the foundation where, even though my background is special effects makeup, I really had to learn production and behind the scenes and how everything works and see how I fit in.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge training ground as well, because you have to learn on every single production something, because that way you are evolving. And I think that's something that you have to do. Whether if you're special effects makeup or an actor or even a lighter, you always want to do your best, the next time. I mean, of course, you're putting it all in, but it's just, different stories and figuring out something different and just trying to capture something even cooler, I guess you would say.
What are some of the favorite things that you have done, let's say in these past few years when you've worked on, not to say like this one project is better, like someone's creation is better, but your own work that you've done for a film?
The work I've done for film, I've made puppets for some short films that I'm pretty happy with. One was an inspiration of Paul Blaisdell from the 1950s, and I was watching the show before, and I loved how you guys were talking about like the creature from the Black Lagoon. And Paul Blaisdell, another one of those monster makers that would make stuff that was just out of this world. So what was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, about like, what is maybe something you've done since you're in the Boston area, like some particular thing you made that you especially loved and had extra fun with?
I think locally, it wasn't specifically in Boston, but one thing I'm very, very proud of within the past few years was doing a makeup on Joe Bob Briggs' show.
Oh, yeah.
I did the Centennial episode where they did Nosferatu, and the director came up to me, and it was so funny. He gave me a mask and a pair of scissors, and he said, "Can you turn Darcy into a vampire?" And I said, "Failure is not an option." And he just said, "I love that mentality." So we figured it out on the fly. We had a mask that we cut the ears off of. I found these little the mouth in the mask. I cut the teeth out and tried to stick it in her mouth. And then at a horror convention, you would think you would be able to find fake blood like that. I couldn't find fake blood anywhere. Thankfully, one of the PAs I was working with was able to wrangle a little bit, and it was that styrofoam tasting blood. And it's not pleasant, but Diana Prince, she was a hell of a trooper. We did the makeup on her. A little bit of blood came out. She looked at camera like she was biting Joe Bob. And that still is something I am extremely proud of. I think I did a poster for a short film. It was not in recent years, but was maybe 10 years ago, called The Test. And on the theatrical poster, a makeup I did of a bullet hole on someone. I was extremely proud that my artwork ended up on the poster of the movie.
It's really cool. I can only imagine what that would feel like to have of all the things that could be on it, to have something you did featured.
But I think the biggest sense of vindication I've had was at the Boston Underground Film Festival, and I did a short film with those guys called The Dissolving Man.
Oh.
I was sitting in the back because I kind of wanted to get the audience's perspective of what they were thinking. And I remember after the film played, because we did some pretty graphic stuff. We had giant pustules that I sculpted, and this guy is squeezing them, and stuff's out of them. And I don't know how graphic I can be on here, but this was getting to a certain point where this guy who's going through this hysteria and all this shit, he ends up cutting off his own penis.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, Billy.
Oh yeah, yep.
And
free space.
Yeah.
so when that movie ended, I saw 3 people in succession running to the bathroom, and they were pumped as they were, running. And I stood up in the back, I smacked my hands together, and I said, I feel vindicated. And sat back down. And the guy right next to me said, what the hell was that about? And I said, I did the special makeup effects in this movie. And they're like, dude, you made those guys puke. I'm buying you a
Awesome.
So, that was a really cool sensation.
Yeah, I just found, is that on anywhere to stream, the Dissolving Man?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I know it was the Boston Underground Film Festival. Phil Healy, they're on it.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, now Ben Swicker. Oddly enough, I ran into him at Market Basket. But yeah, I know Ben Swicker. Yeah, who directed it. Yeah,
because I know it played at the festival, but I'm not sure if it did actually get some sort of a disc deal or physical media.
Yeah, that's the thing with shorts. There's limited platforms for them to go after the festival.
Oh, yeah, but I like when you have the compilations.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's nice when you can get. I mean, I've done shorts where it's nice to end up on like a 4 or 5 series of shorts, and it does get a disc release, which is rare, but it's
Mm-hmm.
It should definitely happen more often. I think, it's something Neal and I talk about, is the idea of where do shorts go to survive or die? And there's so many, like, those
sometimes they put them together for an anthology.
If you're at Buff or something, then those places are full when shorts blocks are playing. So I'm sure that's something people want. If you put these out, there's an audience for that. There's evidence from these film festivals.
I mean, hypothetically, it would be nice if these festivals even did like a select run of certain shorts and put them on disc. I mean, hell, it'd be amazing if they could put all of them, on a disc. And, that could be out of revenue if they want. But, it all depends on but the buyer's market has changed so much with physical media. And I'm a big collector. I mean, not just a puppet master, but just movies on DVD and VHS. And I wish I was down in my shop, but it's packed to the brim with makeup effects that I just don't want to unveil with a project I'm currently working on.
What are you currently working on?
What I'm currently working on, we are doing a shot for The Wicked Hollows, which is, I think, going to be completely gorgeous. We've just been going over all the details, and this movie starts off with a bang. And I think when you have a captivating pre-title sequence that really kind of point. I mean, it is a horror movie. I think it's a nice route to go, because sometimes you see a horror movie, you just have the credit sequence and then you go into it. But one of my personal favorite movies is Reanimator. And I love how that movie starts because it has a great punch where it's like, I gave him life, and then it goes to like the title sequence. So I like movies that do that, and I'm really happy that we're doing something like this.
Yeah, an opportunity to pull people in.
Yeah. I think it's important because if you're making, especially like a feature, if you better do something pretty dynamic in the first few minutes to kind of, want to lure people in. And then if it's a slow burn afterwards, that's fine. But, you really need to pull people into your movie, I believe, in the first few minutes.
So when you so you're watching Puppet Master, when did you decide, in other movies obviously, but when do you decide like this is something I would like to pursue? Like this is, what I would like to make these things.
Well, I was literally 5 years old the day it was documented. My next door neighbor, she brought a big VHS camcorder and she put that tape, put it on the mantle. She went upstairs to see my mother. I pulled the ottoman over. I looked at it, and it was the box art to Ghoulies. And I was 5 years old, and that was the lightning moment where my brain basically went, I'm terrified, but this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I came home from the third grade, and I turned on HBO, and I caught the very last 15 minutes of the original Puppet Master, which is a slow burn. It's very movie, but the last 15 minutes is really where everything leads up to that wonderful series of makeup effects, where Neil Gallagher is destroyed in the elevator, and that sequence has been burned in my head forever. And those two images, as crazy as it is, with the love of full moon, I just knew I had to get into this industry because I just love it. And I'd love to do something with Charlie, just at some point, but I'm just in Boston, and but I've been in contact with Full Moon, Christ, for over 30 years. I'm buying product directly from them.
So what was your path from there? You were a kid, you saw these things, awesome, but now you're doing it, right? You're actually doing the thing.
Well,
what was your story?
Well, I'm actually a high functioning Asperger's. I battle chronic anxiety and I battle chronic depression. But either way, I wouldn't take no for an answer because I just believed so hard in myself that I really wanted to do this. And in the 7th grade, I dealt with some mental issues, and I was really fortunate getting on a good cocktail of medication. And in high school, I went to boarding school. I was in and out of therapy, and I just always had aspirations to just make movies, and nothing ever sidetracked me whatsoever. I knew I had to get a real job to kind of help, do both. Where I work a 40-hour work week, I make movies on the weekends, and the great thing I'm thrilled about is I was able to get a week off. And, I'm actually in the laborers union. I'm local 223. So, I'm thrilled to be going to New York for a few days for Our Man Funk and doing effects and also acting in this film. And in fact, just today, I did this.
I hear there's a big scene Monday involving some idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just looking forward to, getting down there, jumping straight into effects and doing what we need to. And as well, this is my first feature acting role.
Oh, cool.
What were you showing off when Neil jumped in to talk about himself?
I'm sorry, say again?
What were you trying to show us? You came forward.
I basically did a guy job like only a few hours ago. So, I mean, I'm just trying to get in the actual mind of the character. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I think some people take acting, differently, and you never know that there are so many different approaches, but I'm just not Lance Henriksen it, I guess you would say, as much as I love him, but just really trying to develop. I mean, that's the wonderful thing between AJ and Bill Whedon is the organic nature of figuring out these characters. And I just talked to AJ, the director, the day before yesterday, and I love how he loves the direction that I'm going in, and I'm glad we're on the same wavelength. So I'm just really looking forward to the experience.
Can you tell us more about your character in that?
My character's name is Graves, and I play kind of a punk, sadistic leader where I'm just not a very nice guy. I'm very sardonic. I'm dark. I'm bleak. I'm just, kind of playing it straight. But I think that's where some of the humor, I think, is going to come out of with the juxtaposition of the situation, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Some stuff is intense, most definitely. But, I'm just looking forward. I mean, I know how the thing is, when you play a character like this, you're going to get your comeuppance in some shape or form. And this is going to be really interesting. And it's going to be something of a shocking nature, but that's what I love about the script. I love the brashness of what we're doing with the effects, because I've never done effects like these before. These are gross, they're vile, they're of a very disgusting nature. And I think as an effects artist, that's really exciting because you're doing something where it's like, okay, let's figure this out. And let's just make it look as good as we possibly can. And, but I think if everyone has a good mentality and everyone's just, doing their best, I mean, a happy crew is, you always get a happy product, I feel. So, I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I read that script. It's been several months now, so I know it's gone through some changes. But when I read it, I was like, "Oh my God, Bill!"
Well, the only thing I'll say is there's something that deals with sex. I don't know if you read that in the revision anywhere, but it's very interesting.
I don't think that scene was actually in the original script.
Oh.
Because originally, I think I was supposed to get thrown into the dryer, and I was supposed to shit all over myself. And basically, it opens, and it's my face, and I'm covered in shit, and I'm basically steaming. And I'm saying to myself, well, I guess this is what I'm going to be doing, through a series of revisions. The sequence has changed, and I think it's absolutely hysterical. It's very just, we've never seen anything like this. So, that's what I'm really excited about.
That's very
How did you get involved in Our Man Funk?
How do what?
How did you get involved in Our Man Funk?
Bill Whedon actually worked on Wicked Hollows. He came in for a day, and he reached out to the director, and it's wonderful. We made it work, and I actually was room and board for Mr. Bill Whedon. He actually stayed in my spare room, and I actually called the Bill Whedon Suite.
Nice, very good.
But yeah, I picked him up down in Boston, and we had dinner, and then the next morning we went off to set. We had breakfast, and it was wonderful. He worked for a day for us, and he said to me, "I want you in my movie. Have a good look." And I'm like, "Sounds good." And so that was about a little over 2 years ago, but we've still been in contact. And I've been growing my hair out for 2 years, just trying to. I've actually gone from 285 pounds at Christmas, and I'm now 250 pounds. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to take this seriously, I guess, because I got my day job, and, I work on movies, and, but this is the first time I'm really going to be spending time in front of camera. So, it's almost like I need to kind of develop a slight actor's mindset. Not a bad thing at all. But, as we say, the camera adds 10 pounds. So, I just want to be as good as I possibly can.
Are you nervous at all about performing in front of the camera?
No, actually, I was president of my senior class in high school. And I used to have to speak to almost 350 people on a weekly basis. So
Wow.
that fear went away real fast. I'm actually quite comfortable in front of a crowd. It might take a few minutes at first, but I warm up real fast. And actually, at a convention fairly recently, I'm trying to integrate something where I do both, almost like a slight stand up, but doing a makeup on someone and kind of talking about, old productions that have funny anecdotes. I remember I was in Alston and I worked on a feature film called Terrace Street. And buddy Justin Brooks, who's become quite a filmmaker now, we were casting this torso. And like idiots, there was light was limited, so we have candles. I have 2 cans of releasing agent, a cigarette in my mouth, and then next thing I know, a 20-foot flame basically off this thing, and it was a flaming headless torso.
Whoa!
And, my cigarette basically burned all the way down, and it was like a cartoon. Like my face was, but I was just shocked. And Justin turns around. He's like, "What the fuck happened?" I'm like, "Did you not see the 25-foot flame that just shot up?" He's like, "No," because he was running back to the motion sensor light because that was the only light source.
God.
But
wow.
Yeah, that was stupid. But you learn to never do shit like that again. Yeah, I'll talk about that in the show, and also and we'll apply a makeup at the same time, almost like a makeup demo that integrate.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a great thing to attend. I know there's content needed at many conventions, and that sounds like a great
something different.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting because I've wanted to do a one-man show for a few years now, and I've been jotting down some notes, and basically talks about my 25. Well, actually, I mean, the very first set I was ever on was Good Will Hunting, and we rented out the house I grew up in, Matt, Ben, Casey, and Cole, so they could film the movie.
Wow.
Met Robin Williams on set, and I had like a 20-minute conversation with him. And it was so interesting because it was the scene when basically the two of them, Will Hunting and Robin Williams' character, are sitting in the park, and they're talking about like getting your shit together. And when they cut, Robin came over to me, and I was like 15 years old. I was a teenager, and I was just obsessed because you would think like Hook, all other movies. I'm like toys. I love Robert Altman's toys. And we talked about that for almost 20 minutes, and it was just fascinating meeting the man.
Did you go to like a effects school, or was it like self-taught?
I'm an alumni of Tom Savini's special effects makeup program in Pittsburgh, and I'm also an alumni of the Makeup Designery out in Los Angeles.
Very nice.
Well, what was the experience like the Tom Savini school?
I loved it. When I went in, it was close to 20 years ago. Congratulations. I just see that they're celebrating, I think, 25 years. And I mean, I was able to come in on my days off, and I was able to sculpt, and illustrate and just even peek my head in the classes, and, it was just nice, not just being friendly with the people in my class, but, the other classes. And, I kind of bounced around. I talked to everyone. They did like a graduation video, and it was funny because at the end of it, they called me, everyone knew Billy, he was always talking to everyone. It was like Billy Coyne for president, at the end of our graduation video, which I thought was funny. But I just loved bouncing around, talking to everyone, learning the trade, just everything between sculpting, mold making, anthropology, animatronics. And I'm so thankful that I've learned animatronics, even in a crude infancy, because, this is stuff where you have to keep up with it. And some stuff I have been able to keep up with, and some stuff I need to kind of get reacquainted with. But that's fine, because it depends on the production. And it's like, all right, something's coming up. I need to make an animatronic. It's like, okay, let's get the hobbyist motors out, and let's get the servos, and basically, let's figure this out. And it's wonderful if you can have a small little crew. And that's what I love about Wicked Hollows is, it's sometimes you're a one-man show on these productions most of the time. But if you can have a small crew, then you can't go wrong. And I just really want to, if you don't mind, if I can give a big thanks to John Manning, Alex Bruno, and Romy, and Diane Pimentel. Just a wonderful effects crew. And I think you're lucky because sometimes, things can go a little rough sometimes when you're on set. And things have just been really easy and beautiful, and it's rare. And Wicked Hollows has been a great experience.
So you guys are doing another scene. Do you know when like Wicked Hollows will be coming out?
Well, we have this sequence and one more, and then we're officially in the can. But we have started pre-production. So I'm sorry, post-production. So I believe we are still aiming for a release later this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I see on your Facebook you also mentioned the movie Drone Wars.
Yeah, I did a short film up in Albany, New York, a little over a month ago. My buddy Patrick McCabe, who was one of these production houses I first started with, 20 years ago, called me up and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm doing good." We talk back and forth, and he's like, "Do you want to do a short film together?" And I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "The only caveat is we need to go to Albany." I'm like, "What the hell's in Albany?" And it was the Empire State Mall, I think they call it, or Square. And it's a gorgeous location. I don't think it's utilized a lot. And it just looked futuristic. And the cool thing is, I got an eye patch. I look like a red beret almost, but my character's name is the Sergeant. And I'm basically doing a cross between Snake Plissken and Jack Death from Trancers, which was just a lot of fun.
Is acting something you'd like to do more of since you're starting to do, more of it lately?
I'm enjoying it more. I mean, I originally started as an actor. I really thought I was going to be an actor, but I just kind of fell into doing more stuff behind the scenes. And not just special makeup effects. I mean, I've done second directing, I've done producing, I've done crafty, I've done production design, anything you can think of, with the exception of directing. I have, and that's I think an important thing to learn. It's what everyone does.
Yeah, I think it really helps build like in the jobs I've had, like working in the food business, like at a table and tipping and all these behaviors of who's done it and who hasn't.
Yeah.
And having those different job experiences, knowing what it's like and being able to respect those different jobs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because when you do a certain job and then you go to a different position, you can look at that job differently because, or objectively or whatever. And it's like, they're doing great, or it's like having a little trouble. And, but you have what you're working on, and sometimes, hey, everything okay. And, I mean, I think communication is vital on a set. And I think sometimes, frustration in certain places, sometimes you want to be able to defuse the situation. And I've been thankful, on set where I've had people come up to me and it's like, "Billy, do you think you can help with something?" I'm like, "What's going on?" And it's like, certain actors, kind of having a difficult time. And I'm like, who is it? And it's like, it's your buddy MW or Ryan or whatever. I'm like, yeah, sure. And it's go talk. And it's like, what's wrong? It's just like, I'm just really frustrated. It's like, well, let's just take a few minutes. Let's just go for a walk. Let's just chill. We'll smoke a bowl. Maybe that will take the edge off. And, just, but I mean, I've been in certain situations where I've had to, defuse things, but that way you can keep moving forward, do what you need to do. But some people, I think, have that mindset of like, we're against time, we're against time. It's like, you're always against time. It's like, let's fix the situation before it becomes a real problem. And, sometimes you can catch it and sometimes you can't. But, it's great when you can just nip it in the bud, as they say.
You said you've done everything but directing. Is that something you would like to do at some point?
I would love to direct. I mean, I've had aspirations to direct. Basically, I mean, you see all the Puppet Master figures behind me. I mean, I kind of want to do like this Killer Toy meets South Park. I've been cradling for. I mean, Christ, I'm going to be 43 this year, so almost more than 2/3 of my life. So, and I remember the day South Park actually aired for the very first time. And so that show
I used to record them on VHS tape before everything, now like every episode's on streaming.
Huge Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I mean, I saw the Book of Mormon, I love their movies. I know Cannibal, the musical, really recently on Blu-ray, and they hate basketball, but I think it's hysterical. But yeah, I mean, but a lot of my inspirations outside of horror. I mean, I love comedy, and I love Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I love Monty Python. I love Mel Brooks. I like, I like dirty humor. I like, smart humor. One of my childhood favorites growing up was actually Drop Dead Fred.
Oh my God.
And I think
that's awesome.
I think he was absolutely hysterical.
What the hell is his name? Rick
Mile or something like that. He was also on the Young Ones. I know that.
Yeah. He was in a bunch of cool, crazy stuff. He was nuts.
I mean, I love that type of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out here to Edie's up at 4 a.m. in the Netherlands, enjoying the show.
Nice.
Awesome.
Thank you for being up so late. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Love Netherlands, sweet.
So, Dead of Winter. You've been at both of them, and what do you think that means to independent film in the New England area for the rise, of a new festival?
Well, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I think there are lots of festivals, and I think what it boils down to is, if it's a genre, I mean, there's so many different types, and I think it's wonderful that, there are genre festivals. I mean, I've attended, Buff, Biff, and I even did a movie with Patrick Jerome as well. And I think all these festivals are great because there are so many different types of movies. I mean, I've done gangster movies that have played for, the Boston International Film Festival and stuff for the Boston.
Yeah, I think that's coming up. Biff, Boston International. Is that, or no? That might be I don't know. I think that's this weekend. Actually,
I think it might have been the same weekend. Actually.
Okay.
And it drives me nuts when that happens because I can attempt both. And but I think they did it at the theater by the aquarium, I think.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. There's another festival coming up though to Buff. There's a movie I wanted to go see. I mean, not at Buff, but at the Brattle. I can't remember. But
I love those theaters. The Coolidge, the Brattle, and I'm a big fan of just the Revival House in general. I mean, I'm a VHS store kid, and I loved going to the movies, but I much preferred just scouring the shelves. And if I saw that Full Moon logo or that Trauma logo, then I was going for it. But I love discovering stuff like Hellraiser and all the heavies. She would say Freddy, Jason, Leprechaun.
Oh, Leprechaun.
Yeah. There needs to be an Easter horror movie. Maybe that's
Is there
we'll have to do
not?
after Arbor Day, but
I
I don't think
Easter
so.
Bunny Kill.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I know there's like, I love how there's like Thanksgiving, you know. I love, the Christmas horror movies. I love. I mean, because
Yeah.
and
Even the bad ones I like.
I love them all. I mean,
Yeah.
I love a good bad movie. Sometimes, I mean, I think John Waters said it, but I agree with him. It's like, a good bad movie can actually put me in a good mood.
Yeah.
Where an A-list movie can just like kind of destroy my day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. So yeah. But what are some like effects or monsters or something that you've thought of? Like I would always want to create blah 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 or something, but that you haven't had the chance to yet.
Well, I'm a big fan of Lovecraft. I would love to do a creature in suit, Lovecraft thing, and I would even dive back into animatronics even more, and figure out organic ways of how it could be puppeteered from within or externally. I want to do even like a Godzilla thing. I mean, I would love to do like a man in suit. I mean, I think it'd be funny.
That'd be fun, actually.
Yeah. So do something. I mean, say like we're in Boston.
I just actually thought that, have some kind of big monster, maybe a Lovecraft Godzilla type movie. So you have the giant. You always see glimpse maybe of Cthulhu. He doesn't really do anything in the movies, but a Cthulhu movie where he's literally just going around destroying Boston or whatever.
I mean, King Ghidorah destroyed Fenway. I want to create a monster that destroyed the Zakum Bridge. Why not?
Yeah. I like this idea. I'm into it.
I love kaiju movies. I mean,
especially done with real like a guy in a suit. You're saying, and then the actual small buildings or actually smashing the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like when it comes to construction of miniatures, men in suit effects. I mean, that's one thing I love about special effects makeup. I love when you finish with something if you can just blow it up. Because you never have to look at it again because you've been working for a long time. And I forgot, I want to say it was like one or two short movies. I had to stare at something and fabricate. And it's like, okay, this is going to get blown up. I'm sick and tired of looking at it. And then, the director will be like, okay, here's the M80. And it's like, you put it in. You put the M80 in. And you can destroy what I'm sick and tired of looking at.
Cool. Yeah, if you had Dagon coming out of the ocean, you could blow it up in the water.
Water is a very tricky thing to tackle. Especially, I mean, water in general filming is a nightmare. But I've always wanted to make a lake monster movie.
Oh. What kind of monster? More of a long neck or more of a stumpy alligator?
I want to do something like a hybrid of like a plesiosaur and something else. And I mean, I would love to do like my version of like the Crater Lake monster. Not saying I want to make of that, but to do a facsimile, of something fun, something different, something that can be sexy. And I think that's the funny thing about working in the genre for so long. I like taking on projects that are outside the genre. And I think that's an important thing to do as a makeup artist. It helps you grow. It's like, yeah, you love horror. But I mean, I did a romantic comedy actually almost 15 years ago in New York City. And Monday is going to be the first time in 15 years. No, I'm sorry. I was in Albany but in New York City itself. I've been to the actual city in about 16 years. So I'm looking forward to getting down to Brooklyn, starting, full on funk.
Yeah, and they're looking for people on a specific day. If people want to come dressed as punks, they're going to need them for.
On the weekend?
I'm going to go grab it here. I'll grab the dates. I should know this. You know, I'm a producer on the movie. But let's see, April 24th.
April 20th.
That's a week from today, so it's next Thursday.
I cannot commit to that. I do have next Thursday and Friday off, but it's supposed to be for work.
Yeah, I won't be able to be there for that one either. Loud clothes, accessories, grungy, grimy, great makeup, look insane. So that'll be good at the Lucky 13 Saloon.
Wow. You can't be there on a Thursday?
Huh?
You can't be there on a Thursday?
Well, I'll be doing the show here. ourmanfunkmovie@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be there. We'll see. I'll be there from Sunday on, so we'll see what's happening.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. So what else is going on, Billy? And where can people follow you if they would like to get in contact with you? And you know, hey, maybe we would like you to help out with our movie.
I'm on Facebook. You know, Facebook.com/Billy BILLY COYNE Coyne. On Insta, I'm actually Mad Dr. C, all lowercase, all one word, MADDRC.
And what is it about small monsters? So, you know, you got Puppet Master, obviously, Ghoulies. What is it about the small monsters that hits home? What is it about these?
I think it's just the fact that these are just like handmade, you know, creatures, and they're puppeted by, you know, I mean, I think it goes back to Henson in my love, you know, I mean, it was always about Kermit and those black rods. Why are those black rods there? What's that? And I think with stuff, if you say like Ghoulies, you know, I love that you have these really interesting little creatures that you make into characters, and they're just organically manipulated. And I think that's, I mean, I do also have that. I mean, yes, I would love to direct, and I just don't have more than aspirations to do like, you know, a killer toy movie, but I would love to give like, you know, a small creature feature, you know, an ode to the 80s. I mean, you know, I would love to do that, but, you know, I'm the type of guy where it's like, okay, I need to design these things because, you know, it would be my vision. And, you know, what would these things look like? What's the type of carnage? And I've done shorts. I haven't made them, but I've done storyboards, production designs, and how things would be executed. And I've been sitting on close to almost 25 years worth of short stories and concepts. And, you know, I go through them, and sometimes I might run them by filmmaker buddies, and they're like, you know, I think there's something here. Or it's like, you know, yeah, and it's just, you know, it's nice to get different eyes on it and be like, you know, I'm always curious, you know, like, does this have a potential shelf life?
Mm-hmm.
It's gratifying when I can hear people say, you should do this because this would have a shelf life. And those are the aspirations that are really, I guess you would say, in the foremost, where, you know, I mean, there's one I want to do called Lash, which I think I would probably do a short, which is a cross between Halloween and Lovecraft. And have a creature basically just running amok, and the mad scientist is in Sue, and he needs him back. But you know, I like to incorporate tragedy in my stories, and I also like to incorporate humor. And I hate when people say horror movies are just scary, because there are so many gambits of emotion in the genre, and I think the best movies play to every aspect.
Yeah, I agree. That comes up so often on social media. People like to fight over like what's horror, what's not, and yeah, it seems like there are people who believe that like horror should just be nonstop, like killing. Like if there's anything else in it, like it's no longer a horror movie, like it's a and then it becomes a drama or whatever, and it's like.
I think a lot of that falls under the story, because if you have a story and you have, I mean, you can have. I was talking about this earlier today. You can have faceless kills with meaningless characters, or you can create characters that are slightly more dynamic, and when you kill them in some series of grisly execution, you actually do feel bad. And
Yeah.
I think, but I do understand both sides of it, but I think it really depends on.
The first kind of movie you're explaining, it's just like you're just kind of having fun watching some fun kills.
Yeah.
But the other kind of movie you're saying is like, if you're into those characters, then when things start to happen, like you're more invested. It's just a different kind of film. That's what's cool about horror movies is it's such a big umbrella. It depends what your mood in. You can watch something that's just really silly. You can watch something that's really grim. All different things fall under horror.
And plus, there are some movies where you might need to just take a shower afterwards.
Right. And I like all of them, just depending what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah, I mean, there's just that's what I love about the genre is it's so much more than just one style of movie, and it can just be broken down in so many different subgenres. And sometimes I think there are too many subgenres. But you can find what you like, and just growing up having a love of B movies and really taking, I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I just persevered. I just tried my hardest, and I've just been so thankful and humbled and just appreciative of being able to do this for over 20 years.
Real quick, I'm going to show some that Troy sent here. This is when we were talking about Thulu. This is pretty wild.
Studios. They make all 3D printed stuff. So if you get into their things, like, and this one's wild because it's got a bunch of add-ons to it. Yeah, yep.
They all look like legit monsters.
Yep.
Yeah.
I even love how you got the boat there in the water and everything.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing with them, like, even I don't have a top of the line printer, but when you sign up to their thing, you can print out like an inn, and it's made for like 32 millimeter figures, and it would take a day and a half to print that out on my printer. And
I actually,
that's a lot of stuff.
I just saw a video recently of 3D printing and using and integrating stop motion animation.
Wow.
And I would love to get into more 3D printing. I mean, sometimes I feel like an analog guy in a digital world because, as much as I love practical makeup effects, I do a lot of old school techniques. And I think when you do something long enough, you become good at it. And I feel very fortunate that I'm good at manipulating latex. But that's something I have to be upfront with, with my actors. It's like, do you guys have an allergy? And if you do, then we need to find, an alternate. But if people don't have an allergy, I think it's nice because you can literally build something up. And it's nice if you can have a window of time, which is rare. And sometimes you can make something cool. And, sometimes you're in a position where if you have enough time, you can sculpt it, mold it, and then make a prosthetic and lay it on your actor. But, time is always usually the biggest enemy on movies. But, if you are able to have time to your advantage, then it's nice to do a build-up process. And that way you can create something unique that you might not do if you were sculpting something a few weeks ago. And, sometimes the last minute stuff, could be a happy accident. And it's nice when you have those happy accidents. And it's like, I wasn't expecting that. And it looks better than it damn well should. And I think those are the moments that kind of excite you, when you're on set. It's like, that had no reason to look that good. God damn.
Edie says The Dentist, one of their favorite movies. Yeah. I think the thing about that movie is they capture something that everyone has. They're not everyone, but most people have like an inherent aversion of going to the dentist, and so everyone can kind of relate to it, or at least everyone can relate to going to the dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always liked going to the dentist.
Well, one thing that's a bummer.
Maybe you think he's the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
I actually chipped my tooth a few months ago.
Oh.
And even though I had this role coming up, I'm thinking, should I fix it? And I'm thinking to myself, you're playing a punk. Why not?
You just really got into the role, Bill.
Yeah.
No, but it's just so.
Like, get the hammer.
Yeah, but I'm just going to get it fixed, afterwards. But I love Corbin Bernsen, and I think Brian Usna is a great filmmaker.
No, I agree 100%. Yeah. Yeah, he's, I totally agree. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say, but someone involved in Our Man Funk recently was bitten by a dog, and I suggested that we write into the script that that someone bites him. One of like Bill Whedon bites him.
It's like a real, like the bite mark is going to last that long?
I mean, it just happened, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's no, I mean, it's like a chunk like out of his side.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
that's
like a big chunk, but still it's a little bit, yeah. But
jeez.
But yeah, hopefully he sees it, you're gonna be okay.
Whoever it is, I hope you get better.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He may or may not have just been on the show, but yeah. But yeah, he'll be fine, I think. Or if not, we'll have great memories of him. No.
He's now a werewolf after that. But.
Yeah. But that reminded me, one thing I made a lot of, I actually made 450 feet of fake intestines.
Whoa.
And that was a huge feat.
How much latex does that take to make 450? I guess 450 feet it takes, but how long does that take to make? And where do you make it? Like where do you make it? How much room do you need to do that?
I converted my basement into my shop, and I had to get hooks, and I had them dangling from the ceiling.
Wow.
So for the longest time, when I would walk into my shop, it's like walking into some Lovecraftian portal. But yeah, I mean, I want to say it was at least, almost $500 worth of latex.
Wow.
Because it was a good few gallons that I went through, and it was tedious. I box knotted elastics. I did close 3,000 rubber bands.
Wow.
And the final count, was a little over 450 feet, and that was that was. I want to say piled together for time. It was close to a few months.
Wow. What was it used for? Was it used for one project?
Yeah.
Wow. I made 12 feet of small intestine, and that was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work too.
Yeah, trying to use that for jump rope.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually made intestines for an Ice 9 Kills music video.
Really? Very
That's
nice.
pretty wild. Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it was their song that features Pennywise.
Oh, nice.
And I enjoy, silver screens as well. I mean, I think that's what's a lot of fun about the genre is, just networking, with people.
So Our Man Funk's coming up. You've got a lot of projects coming up.
Yeah, Maddie Fisher's Wicked Hollows, Drone Wars Episode 3, directed by Patrick McCabe. Our fearless leader, AJ Cutler, for Our Man Funk. Yeah, so it's I feel very thankful how everything is basically shaping up for 2025, as terrifying as it is in some ways, but I'm very thankful.
So I believe you were on the show once, but this is your first straight on interview with you. But you're always welcome back anytime you want to come on and talk about some anything that's coming out, or just talk about horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, if I have stuff coming out, I mean, I love talking horror movies. I mean, I love obscure horror, and I think that's what I really took away from my teen years is discovering the Italian movies. And I love the aesthetic of and the look of Argento stuff, and as beautiful as it is, and even the stuff like Claudio Fragranti, where it might be, a little ham bone, but I still have a girl too, no matter what.
Well, it was really cool to talk with you, Billy, and we will talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Enjoyed it, guys. Thank you so much.
See you, Billy.
Good luck on set.
Yeah, good luck on everything.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of effects you're going to be doing, and you're going to be acting, so it's a lot of stuff planned out.
It's going to be a fun ride.
All right.
Best of luck.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, so you guys want to go to a break?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to play a couple trailers, and we'll come back and we will talk about something or other. So I'm going to play right now. This is the trailer for Redhead 2, Deadhead, because coming up next week here on the show, we will have Jonah and Sam Hodge from Redhead. Now, the original one is streaming now on the B stream. And you can watch that. Just go there and use promo code NOHEAD. That is the official Without Your Head promo code. Get yourself a discount. And they're currently filming Redhead 2, Deadhead. And here is the trailer that Sam had sent me just actually about 10 minutes before we went live.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. I'll say that for sure. Here it is.
So that we are clear, you will do what I say. You will take innocent blood. Evil deeds are already coming this way. I tried to give you a new life, and you just wouldn't take it. I gave you the strength to take charge of yourself, to take vengeance without consequence. Like all whores, you wasted your power over a dog. Sweet agony.
Ryan, don't feel sorry for me. I've already been to hell. Now, you're going to find out what it's like.
Didn't think I'd be seeing you again.
Stop doing this tonight.
parsimonious and graceful, and to deal with you. What you're doing? Not talking to dead.
Oh, you little bitch.
Oh, crap.
I don't belong to anyone.
When they lowered my wife into the coffin, I had an intense urge to get into the box with her.
You never considered cremation?
How dark are you willing to go? Those are the shrouds.
You mean like burial shrouds?
Not exactly. It's basically a kind of camera in her grave.
Don't you find it hard to take?
It comforts me.
It's like she's floating in outer space.
Word of warning. If their shrouds can be weaponized, people will find a way to do it. They found something.
What is that? Where did that video come from? It's walking amongst the wreckage.
Brutal. Some real hatred there. What's the motive?
You used to say that they were killing your sister in the hospital.
I just knew they were constantly edging towards experimental treatments they weren't being upfront about.
You still have her dental records here.
We still do. Do you want JPEGs?
It's obvious they were tracking you through her.
Why would anyone want to track me?
Well, you tell me. Made a career out of bodies. I'm so happy to be involved.
Involved?
It makes me feel so alive.
I'm paranoid now. Things are getting weird.
Desecration wasn't just random.
She's in my head, my dreams, my life.
What could that mean, I wonder?
What's going on?
I can't believe it.
The shrouds.
It's not meant for the living.
Maybe not meant for the dead either.
Well, bless my soul, it's a lawman.
Sorry to bother you. I'm afraid there's been a murder in the building.
As police scramble to identify the latest victim in a string of serial murders, there remain no leads to the identity of the killer dubbed the Brooklyn Butcher.
Killer on the loose, how ridiculous.
My friends warned me not to go out tonight. They say I might be meeting with the Brooklyn Butcher and not even knowing it.
They are out there and they could be anybody. Do you think I'm the Brooklyn Butcher?
Goodness, was that perfect timing or what?
I'll say. Come on in, come in. We've been expecting you. You don't know what's gonna happen. What if you may wind up being dead?
None of us saw it coming.
That's what I said. Hope you won't have to use the handcuffs. Or maybe I do. Let the games begin then.
What causes the Brooklyn Butcher to kill? Well, that's difficult to say.
Every murderer has a different motive. There's revenge, rage, lust, power. But what it really all comes down to is fear. We kill because we are afraid. And most of the time, that fear causes us to do something we will always regret for the rest of our lives.
You opened my eyes to a whole new world.
All right, and we're back here once again and without her head. So we licked that red head to deadhead. We looked at the shrouds, which is
Kind of
the new
intrigued by all those trailers. I gotta say.
the new Cronenberg movie that comes out next weekend. Beowulf in black and white, and the Brooklyn Butcher, which I saw Saturday at the Wicked Queer Film Festival.
Oh yeah,
at the Brattle.
very nice, very nice.
Joshua and the cast were there. Joshua Panghorn, who wrote and directed it, so that was a cool.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, they all looked nice. I'm all interested in all of them. And the last one looked pretty funny as well.
It was a very fun experience watching it with the crowd of people. I'd never been to the Wicked Queer Film Festival, and you got to pronounce it that way since it's Boston.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah.
Wicked
Queer. It's all Joshua stuff is body positive, since all different shapes of folks. Be warned if it bothers you. There are a lot of naked dudes in the movie in different in having different types of sexual experiences of all shapes. So
all shapes.
Yeah. Big folks, smaller folks.
Oh,
hairy folks. Yeah.
All
and there's also a lot of killing too.
Hmm.
But it's a good time. So yeah, so coming up, I looked this up. So this film festival is not all horror, but also at the Brattle is the Independent Film Festival of Boston, and not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after, Zodiac Killer Project will be playing there, which is a horror film.
Interesting.
Against the backdrop of sun-baked parking lots, deserted courthouses, and empty suburban homes, the familiar spaces of true crime, stripped of all action and spectacle, a filmmaker describes his abandoned Zodiac Killer documentary and probes the inner workings of a genre of saturation point. Oh, it sounds interesting.
So this
not
is
necessarily horror movies. What?
Documentary about someone that was trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that was trying to make a Zodiac Killer movie.
Very interesting.
Yeah. There's more actually here. The true crimes genre's ubiquity is driven by people's endless fascination, disgust, and bizarrely search for comfort in genre conventions that still have the ability to generate complex emotions despite their predictability and familiarity. Filmmaker and multimedia artist Charlie Shackleton's projects have used his uniquely funny, intellectually engaging style to examine how popular culture, mass media, and storytelling create meaning. In this wholly original, self-aware cinematic work, Shackleton dissects the true crime genre by recreating it. Using Bay Area landscapes, archival material, reenactments, film and TV clips, and voiceover to walk the viewer through what his film would have been like and why Zodiac Killer Project is a captivating and entertaining experience that will forever change how you watch your next murder program.
Interesting. That's quite a build-up.
Yeah, no, yes. There's a lot to live up to. So that's interesting. A Monster Expo halfway to Halloween.
Yeah.
That's also the same weekend, April 26th and 27th. And Fairhaven. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the New England area.
And apparently the New York area.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Many things. I was in the New York area unintentionally.
Unintentionally, we were kidnapped. Or...
Well, so our friend Lexi, who comes on the show once in a while, was having a wedding. And I was
nice.
very happy that I got to go. I've known Lexi longer than all y'all. I've known Lexi a long, long, long time. And it was very exciting. I didn't know anybody there. That was awkward. Her husband is amazing. She's got amazing friends. I'm very excited. And I stayed overnight because there's no way I was going to drive back. And so then I get up, have the breakfast. I'm like, you know what? I know it's not really anywhere near me, but I'm going to go to New York City because, I'm looking at the map and the triangulation. It's really only an hour difference. But went and just took a bunch of pictures of like abandoned lots and garbage and rusty shit. And I was like, well, it's about time. And I ended up being over on 6th, which I can't stand that area with all the like bright lights and stuff that I think is just super kitschy. And well, and the marquee in front of me is for the IFC Theater, which is super cool. I'm like, oh, it's like right in front of me. I wonder what's playing this Sunday night. So looking at some stuff on one side, we're not really interested. On the other side, it said The Elephant Man. I'm like, oh, I've still to this day have never seen it.
Really?
Still. It's got so many things going for it, and I have yet to see it. So, oh, that's really cool. I wonder when it's playing, because I'd go see that. And then below that, it said Sallow. They're showing Sallow in the movies. Oh my God. I have to find out what time these movies are playing. Elephant Man has its time had already come and gone.
Oh.
Sallow was going to be at like 9:30. Like, you know what? If I do that, it will be so late. It will be so late. I thought that's very irresponsible. I work tomorrow. That's irresponsible of me. But realize that this is like a possibly once in a lifetime experience to see this disgusting film. I was even embarrassed to get the ticket. I mean, they're playing the movie, but I was like, I felt ashamed, and I said to the guy, I'm like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to see Southland. Then some homeless dude maybe ends up harassing me. And like, I'm literally buying a ticket. I'm there. I'm talking to the guy buying the ticket. And this dude comes up and he's like, do you have blah, blah? And it's just like, I don't care about people out there asking for shit. Like, if people are wanting, they're like money and they're doing their thing, but fucking come up to me and interrupt me as I'm actually doing something. I'm like, I don't have any cash. And he's, well, yeah, I understand what's going on. It's because I'm homeless and black. And I like went off. Like, how dare you? And I went on and on. And I'm so sorry. And I was like, I'm sorry to offend you. I'm like, yes, you did offend me. What the fuck, man? Get the fuck out of here. So I scared him a little bit away, and then I asked to go inside the theater. Fortunately, they were there and understood that it was a situation where I really should not be in the same space as this person. Damn. So that was fine. He went away. I walked around a little bit, went back. It was full. I thought, oh, this is something I'm going to be like the person. And the door, or some like other fucking weirdo. Like it would be
like
at the
went to see Maniac.
Coolidge. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a full theater. And like, these people must not know. They're seeing like this is some Italian, old movie, and there's fascism and it's relevant to the day of fascism. And I thought, oh my God, I'm just going to watch and see people leave the seats, because I ended up being all the way in the back center. And there were people who left. It was like 4 people who ended up leaving. Next to me is some dude who was filming it during particular scenes, like the poop scene. Like that's it though. It was like the really, really, really worst of the worst scenes. And
I'm gonna use these for later.
Dude, I think he was using them for now.
Oh.
There's like activities. It's like I can't. There's like, remember the guy? I think it was Maniac, and they had like a ship.
Yeah, it was. He even sat like on our same row, and it was very like not right next to us, but like very close to us, and it was like a pretty empty theater.
Yes. Well, this wasn't an empty theater.
I know, but
when he first arrived. For this guy, I mean to say, maybe when he first arrived, but it was weird. And I was just thinking to myself, you know what? Whatever. He's in the back row. I'll just focus ahead and enjoy yourself. Don't touch me. Don't sperm on me. You do you. And I was shocked people stayed that long because it was all ages. And I was sure I was
going to family film. You bring the grandpa, bring your children. Yeah,
maybe not like 4, but it was like the youth. So I thought, well, maybe this was some assignment for a film school, and they had to go.
What's an assignment for elementary school?
No, but it was cool, and I didn't get enough sleep, and I figured it out, mostly falling asleep the next day, but that's okay. It was a hell of a time. And yeah. So the idea of going to Brooklyn is like, would be nice for that day. But I understand you also have like a timing where if you're going to
I mean, my character's not actually needed for that, but
Are you needed in New York?
No, I might still be filmed in Boston.
Huh.
But I mean, if you want to go, I am up for going.
I will have to do some thinking. I'm thinking about the strategies of my future, thinking about what I'm doing. I specifically took 2 days off to get work done that, it turns out I'm not getting done for things like, watching Sallow on a Sunday night in New York. But it's very tempting. So.
All right. So just let me know, in the coming days.
Okay. Do you know what time we would have to be there by?
I'll find out. I'll ask AJ after. It's probably during the day, though, I'd assume.
All right.
'Cause I know most of the other stuff's like pretty early. Michael will be there.
Oh.
And Bill Whedon.
Mr. Weeds.
The Weeds.
Mm-hmm. I almost asked him if I could come hang out with him and his wife, but then I was like, they don't want me bumming around over there.
Oh, they would have been. They wouldn't mind. 9:30 to 3. 9:30 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Maybe not. Never mind.
Yeah, it would probably by the time we got there, I think it would be about time when even if we left real early, it'd be like they're wrapping up by the time we got there.
Even if we left the night before.
Yeah.
No. Well. There will be other opportunities to
Yeah, there's lots of stuff coming up.
Yeah. It's really for the best as far as getting my work done.
Yeah. Now I do I know we have Arbor, but I kind of want to write a big monster destroying Boston movie now. But
with models,
I like this idea.
Explode into the Arbor Day, please. Can it just be like a short?
Oh yeah. It would be something after Arbor Day. I'm just saying,
okay, a small.
Yeah, no, it would be after completely done with Arbor Day. But I kind of would like to write. I would like to write something like that. I think it'd be fun. And I think it'd be fun to film, honestly. Sad news, really sad news. Former multiple-time guest on the show, guy we met many times. All three of us passed away. Sal Lizard passed away.
Yeah.
Oh no way! Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think he passed away a little while ago, but his wife had just posted about it.
Wow.
I know
Yeah,
he's
that was
been
sad
not
news.
in good health the last couple of years.
That's too bad. He used to do karaoke up by my mom's house.
So yeah, I posted about it on my Facebook, on the group, and a lot of people that I've known, through the conventions, all saying, fun experiences with him. And when we were doing the conventions, he was, one of the regular guys that was at all of them.
Yep, you'd always see him.
Well, we had that experience when we went to that one.
Yeah,
that convention ended up being good for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, good experience, but it was bad. It was not a well-run experience.
Yeah, we didn't have to worry about getting paid or being shut out
or getting locked out of our hotel room or anything.
But we went to, it was one of the nights out where they paid for everything, which turns out they didn't have money, so it's easy to pay for everything when you never pay the next people.
Oh yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and Ari Lehman, yes, first Jason played there, definitely. Was playing the guitar. It was a very, very fun scene. And there was sometimes we were outside and people were like crazy. Do you remember what happened outside? There was some like woman that was extra crazy.
Yeah, with Sal Lizard.
Oh, really?
We have pictures of it, but I remember something's going on, but like I don't remember exactly what's happening.
Was this the one in Kalamazoo or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I always forget. I always want to say like Timbuktu or something, but Kalamazoo.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
But that was the place that was so cold. John Duggan could put his beer on the floor. It would stay cold. And it like murdered some of the lizards because people had a reptile thing. It was something else. There was like I hate to say it, I'm sure these people aren't watching the show. And if they are, I'm really sorry. But the burlesque of Jaws. No, it was not like the arena itself wasn't the best setup. But they had like this, not a blue tarp, but kind of like this closed off boxed in with fabric area. Inside were rows of folding seats in the little stage area. Wow, it was garbage. And Neil and I had snuck, because we didn't want to interrupt. It had already started, so we'd snuck in the back by the curtain.
It was like in a tent almost.
Basically. And man, poor Kevin Van Hentenryck was stuck there. Dude, sorry, but we're out. It is bad.
Yes.
There's a lot of bad. Oh, like so we first got to our hotel, and great, we're there. But the guy who gave us the ride, it's like it was a minivan. He seemed like a nice man, but it said something on the outside too. It was like very Jesus-y. And that's fine. I have no problem with Jesus. He seems like a nice guy. So we get in the van and Neil's in front and I'm in the back. And he's like, hello, what are you doing here? And we're at a horror convention. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. And he ends up saying like, thank God those things exist, because if not, probably all those people would be murdering people.
Yeah, they're killing everybody. It's just like, what the hell?
Shit, dude. Really? And he kind of expounded on this idea of his. And it's just like, I don't even know what to say. And then if I ever did try to say anything, he just ignored me as if I didn't exist. I don't know if that's because I'm a female and that's not fit into his like picture of, you know, behaviors like the woman stays in the back and shut up. I don't know. He was a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Accused us of being potential murderers.
Yeah. But a nice guy.
Nice guy.
Yeah. So I got an email.
His views might have been a little askew, but he was a nice guy.
Well, yeah. And it was a really good time because we got to know Bob Elmore. I remember Bob Elmore was like, people are paying attention to you. They might not always like reply, like to both of us. for the show.
Yeah, because
Like,
that
they
was the
don't
reason
really
he agreed to
comment.
do the show, because he saw that we were going.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So he said that people were paying attention, even if we don't see them. And it was like, oh, that's either he's saying it just to be nice, which is lovely, but
No, I
maybe
think it was.
there's some truth to
Well,
it.
yeah, he said that, that's why he agreed to do the show, which I felt bad about afterwards.
Why?
Because he didn't get paid or not. Like, he might not have gone. He's like, oh, this must be on the up and up. Neal and Annabelle are going.
I don't think that was. I don't think he
it
was like,
honest.
yeah.
Well, he didn't blame us, but he did say that's why he had gone.
Yeah, but we weren't in on the
no, but I'm still saying, though, it did make me feel bad that, like,
yeah. But friends,
the idea is, you got to be careful what you endorse if you're not,
Well, afterwards, we really unendorsed it, and I have a mouth, you may know, and I slammed them up and down, back and front, side to side. That fucking place, Kalamazoo. I can't remember the guy's name.
No,
I don't even remember the name.
Mad that we
probably just as well.
Yeah, I think he completely disappeared after that.
I thought he tried to do another one.
Oh,
I
really?
don't think so. Maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Maybe under an assumed name.
I think it was the festival was under a different name. And then he got slammed all over the fucking place because he really he left people. I think it's long enough to say. So the last night it was John Dugan, his friend Tanya, who's a wonderful person.
Tamara.
That's right. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Tamara. And Bob Elmore, and we all went out to dinner, and it was great, and everybody was joking and laughing, have a great time. Tamara is the person with the car, so she's going to take. There's not enough room. She's going to take Bill and Bob, and then she's going to come back and take John. So we're hanging out with John, having a great time, laughing, talking. He's telling stories, being John, and then he gets a call, and he's super happy, and he gets it, and his face starts to just drop, and is like, I mean, it looked like someone died, and he ended up getting it off the phone and said that all this stuff was locked in the rooms because the guy didn't pay. So everybody's stuff was locked in their rooms. Yeah, so anyone who does this on the road, they have all their shit with them.
Yeah, John said his whole life was
hundreds and hundreds of dollars on photos and on all the things, and not to mention their own stuff. So apparently Sid Haig has he was very smart, we found out, because he would do the guarantee. So no matter what, he would get like 10
he got like 10 grand or whatever. But
okay.
Yeah, not everyone, not everyone has the pull to, ask for that though.
I think he had an influence, from what I recall, on that all getting turned around so that people could get their shit and leave. But what a scumbag.
Yeah, that
sucks. Such a scumbag. But other than that, it was a great time.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Sal Lizard.
Yeah, Sal, rest in peace, Sal.
Well, Sal Lizard gave us a ride home. And he told us all kinds of cool stories about himself.
Yeah,
in his red car, his red sled. Yeah. He brought us back to the hotel and just told us the things. He wanted to write a kid's story. He was trying to write a children's story. And talking about his being a Santa. And it was so interesting because at the conventions, he's got the teeth and the black sclera contacts, and he's like all over the hot women and
definitely,
not hot women. And he was just living it up, playa, vampire Santa. But then he had this beautiful side to him. I mean, not that wasn't a beautiful side, but maybe not everyone expect.
Just a more wholesome side too.
Yeah, raising toys for tots and going around he'd go around as Santa to kids that were struggling, like kids that were in need, and kids with physical things and like cancer and things like that. So really lovely guy.
Behind the scenes video of Redhead 2, Deadhead. It's pretty freaking sweet.
For the teaser, how you feel about that shit?
Excited to see what it looks like.
Well, you did your scene. For the teaser, how you feel about that shit?
Excited to see what it looks like.
And the teaser did look sweet.
Yes. It looked really cool. Really, really cool.
So yeah, they'll be on next week. That'll be fun.
Nice.
So yeah, our friends at the Be Real, and they hooked up a special promo code for Without Your Head fans. No head.
I'm gonna send you a beautiful picture of Sal. For those who aren't familiar, on the Facebook. Oh, what a sweetie. What a nice guy.
All right. Oh yeah, this is a nice photo.
Yeah.
You can tell he's a nice, even with the fangs and the black eyes. Post it up here in a second. So we'll be having some guests every once in a while from Be Real Films, maybe older films, newer films. It's a cool streaming site. Lots of cult classics, a lot of festival favorites. Kind of a good mix.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. What a sweetie.
Rest in peace. So yeah, he's been on a few times, and we have some video interviews with him. One of the guys that when we were real regulars at the festivals, we'd run to him all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always be one of the first people we'd see there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was everywhere all the time.
So there's some new films coming out from Arrow Video.
Some
special Blu-rays coming out. One I've never heard of, and that is Steppenwolf, a limited edition.
Oh,
Steppenwolf.
No, I don't think I've heard of that one either.
Tamara, interesting. That's very strange. The character's name is Tamara.
Tamara Martin. Oh. That's her name.
But the character in this movie is Tamara.
Yes.
Wow.
Tamara searches for her missing son in a violent town. She hires a morally questionable ex-detective to find him. His methods are cruel, but she's determined to find her son, whatever the cost.
Wow.
We can watch a trailer if you like.
Yeah, let's do
I've
it.
not seen it. Let's load this up. I've not seen it either, so this will be interesting.
Cool.
Maybe if things work out here. Come on. Maybe not. I'm having some issues here.
That's okay.
I think Sinners comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
That one I'm looking forward to. Always like Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm. What happens in this film, Troy? Well, not that you know everything that happens, but...
Well, he plays twins, and I'm not sure about the time period, but it's maybe the 30s in New Orleans, and I think vampires come a-knocking.
Aha, very cool. Nothing wrong with vampires in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just see your cat, like, scoot really fast?
Probably. The two of them are crazy. They go flying past every now and then. There was a squirrel outside, a baby squirrel today, and so they were going nuts by the windows trying to get out.
All right, here's Steppenwolf. Maybe.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, they're running up and down the stairs. Oh.
Oof.
All right.
Wow, looks
That looks,
intense.
yeah. I've not heard of that movie, so I'm very interested in that. The Andromeda Strain.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
Neither. Government satellite crashes outside of a small town, and within minutes, every inhabitant is dead, except for a crying baby and an elderly derelict.
So what is this? Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
You want to watch a trailer for this as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this a new version of it, or is this
Right.
the old one?
Well, it's a so it's a special edition from
from Arrow.
Yeah. I don't think it's letting me pull this up here. So it's got it's a 4K restoration of the original camera negative. All kinds of extra stuff, audio commentaries, documentaries, all that stuff. All right, here we go. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen it, to be honest, now that I think about it.
I got to say, it's not one of my favorite movies, but I haven't seen it in 30 years or whatever it's been.
Any messages for me from the White House? Not a thing, Dr. Stone. Well, you have it.
The set you've just seen is the nerve center of a secret 5-story underground laboratory, which is the star of the Andromeda Strain, my new film for Universal, which is based on last year's best-selling novel. It's the story of the world's first space-age crisis.
We see bodies. Lots of them. Stay to stations. Hit that security button.
We need a flyby over Piedmont, New Mexico. Infrared, a FLIR scan, all sectors. Film to come direct to scoop.
Too bad he can't tell us what happened. Maybe he can, if he lives.
I recommend calling a wildfire alert.
Yes?
I just wanted to inform you that all members of your team have been cleared and are now being called in.
No other way to halt the infection spread.
Are you sure the old man and the baby are still alive?
It's growing. What the hell are you doing? Turn off the oxygen. Put him on room air.
No, the air is thick with Andromeda. Experiment with your own life, damn it.
Andromeda will spread everywhere. They'll never be rid of it.
There are now 5 minutes to self-destruct.
The cores are good for safeguard. What would my chances be in there? Well, they don't exist for anyone anywhere if you stay here.
Hey, Josh! She ain't leaving us here, are you?
Oh, Michael Crichton. Damn.
Wow.
I remember there's a lot of getting suited up and unsuited in that movie. And then
Well, runs
a lot
for
of
over
jiffy
100 minutes.
popcorn. Rated G because It's not good for kids, I guess.
Too intense for some young children.
When it said it ran for 100 minutes, I was wondering if they meant the trailer.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah. Yep.
Brutal.
Very long.
As I remember it, the movie's about as exciting as that trailer was.
I don't like babies.
I like that. That's a selling point. It runs over 100 minutes.
And I think there was a little false advertising because it hasn't stuck with me, I'm afraid.
You've been on the edge of your seat for your lifetime.
Ever since I saw it. Yep. Like, holy shit, I hope Jiffy Pop Popcorn doesn't start up. Then we're all screwed.
All right. I'm into this. I need to see this movie now. I don't know about that, but I do want to see Steppenwolf on it.
Yeah, I'd see that one. But
I'm curious.
I don't think if I can go back to the Andromeda Strain.
So you'd be going back. I would just be going.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it either.
Yeah, I am.
I think I protected you from it as a younger man. Like, hey, look, Channel 38 showing the Andromeda. Yeah, let's watch something else.
Well, if you want to get the limited edition from,
I mean,
from
maybe
Arrow.
it's better that I remember it, but I doubt it.
It's known, right? I know the name,
Oh, yeah.
so
yeah, true.
I'll be honest. I'm not just saying this because Arrow, send stuff to the show or whatever. But seriously, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. But I do enjoy a lot of special edition sets of even stuff that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, it's great if it's a movie I love, but a lot of times it's like the commentary tracks and the special features are worth checking out. Even if it's not a movie you love. The other two limited editions, very interesting. So, Jason X.
Whoa.
Written by our friend Todd Farmer and star of the Once and Future Smash. I don't think I need to read what this is about. I think people know Jason X. And Jason Goes to Hell.
Whoa. Directed
by Adam Marcus, friend of the show, and also star of the Once and Future Smash. And both of them met for the first time in over a decade because of the Once and Future Smash, which is very exciting. So that's pretty wild.
I have a feeling this, like, how Shudder will do the curators. I have a feeling this is like a Nasty Neal curated thing here, because this seems like that's how that match came into being.
So Jason X has some great kills, and I honestly think that the premise is interesting, and it has David Cronenberg in it.
Oh,
I'm with
and
you.
I love Todd Farmer. I can't say this is a great movie, but the flip side of that, Jason Goes to Hell. I've told the story a million times. I thought the movie was just laughably bad when I was a kid. Went to see it, a teenager. I remember clearly my friend Joey and I were the only two people in the theater except for one other guy. The movie opens. The coroner takes he's doing the autopsy on a dead Jason, takes out his heart, and for unknown reasons bites into it. and Joey and I burst into laughter. The guy across the aisle from us pissed. And then he just sat there the rest of the movie like this while we're laughing. And as soon as it was over, he got up and stormed out.
You broke up his FAP experience, Neil.
Maybe, yeah. So ever since, that's always what I remember. I was like, and then years ago, maybe 2008 or 2009, we got Adam Marcus on. So I'm like, well, I got to go rewatch Jason Goes to Hell for this interview. And then I'm watching it. And I'm like, I think I love this movie now. So, and then I've watched it a few times since then, and I just think it's so batshit crazy. The guy who hunts Jason in it, it's got some strange ass dialogue. It has cameos of the Crate from Creepshow and
wow,
really, I don't remember that.
And the Necronomicon. And,
wow,
that's crazy.
And I'm like,
everything's making a cameo.
Yeah. So I actually asked Adam why those specific movies. Actually, the last time we had him on, just recently, and he said he wanted a cameo of all the directors that influenced him, which I was like,
cool.
So
John Reddy and Christian Cordes are in the house.
I am a huge fan of this movie. I actually would love to get hands on this limited edition, and I'm really looking forward to Hearts of Darkness, the documentary about the making of the movie.
Cool.
Christian,
yeah, they overlap in their time together in this documentary. These two creators.
no, I don't think Todd Farmer's in the other documentary. Christian Cordes, what up, you groovy ghoulies? Hello, Christian Cordes.
Cute little Rolf.
Oh yeah.
A strain was quite popular amongst real boomers.
The A strain. Real boomers.
So I guess you're not a real boomer.
Real boomer. You're not a real boomer if you don't like Andromeda.
Are you serious, John? Jason X is your favorite? Wow.
Well,
I mean, I know that's fine.
Maybe he's being sarcastic.
Maybe. No, I think he really likes it. I could say Jason. All right. Yes, two different movies. Yes, two different ones. Jason X has a limited edition, and Jason Goes to Hell. I would say Jason Goes to Hell is the far superior film, but hopefully everyone has seen.
Which one has Cronenberg? Did you say was that Jason
X?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It does have a great kill.
Yeah,
he's a great character in one of the newer Star Trek series.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's really good in it too. He's excellent.
He should act more. He was great in
Yeah.
Nightbreed. He was my favorite part of Nightbreed, honestly. He was a good villain.
I can't remember the name of it. It's one of the new Star Trek series, but
I stopped after. I didn't even really get into whatever Deep Space.
Oh yeah.
My guy I was dating at the time loved it.
Oh,
His
okay.
favorite, which
that one I hit the wall with. It took me years to go back and then watch the rest of the stuff.
yeah,
I've never finished it because I love the original series, and then I flew through Next Generation. I'm like, I'm gonna watch all these in order. And then I started watching Deep Space Nine. I'm like, this fucking blows. And then I tried to go back to it recently, and I've people like once it gets to season 3 or whatever, it's great. I'm like,
what?
Try to get here. I don't know.
See, at least Voyager, like, you only have to get through the first, like, I think 7 episodes of the first season, and then the alien that they tried to bring in that they thought all the fans would like, and everybody hated, and then they kind of like pushed them to the back, and they brought in, was she 7 from the Borg?
Oh my god!
And she's the greatest
7 of
character, and
9.
like then
She's the hottest character.
Oh, she is that too, but like she's just a great evil character. Well, she's not really evil, but she likes to like fuck people up. She's
really good in Picard.
Oh, she was
I
great in
haven't
that
seen
too.
Picard, but
I think I just need to go to Picard because my thought process was I'm going to watch every series in order, and then I'm like, I don't know. How am I ever going to get through this series when I just don't enjoy it? So, and then I got to watch like multiple. Well, I just go to the one I want to see, Picard.
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no storyline that matters that you need to know in order to watch Picard.
Yeah, that's true. Because you know Next Gen, so you're good, you know. And then once you get to the rest of the series that are on there that were made for
I would like to
Paramount,
watch all those.
they're great. They're really, really good.
Christian, who's Arcade Productions, honest to God, Strange New Worlds is like classic Trek
tremendous.
in a big way.
So great. That one and the one that happens, like, it's the same timeline. It's kind of like pre-original series. And so, like, Captain Pike is on there. Yeah, yep. It's just great stuff.
I like the light pickup. By the way, last night I actually made so my idea was there's this Steve battling the Tree Demon shirt, which is one of my favorite 8-bit shirts I made. I really like it. And then I made one for Andrew with his character, which
nice.
should be here soon. And so I was like, well, so anyway, last night I made one of Travis, Brian, and one of Troy. So the idea is you can be team whoever, and you can buy whichever shirt you would like.
Oh, very good.
Battle in the tree. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And then we await Brian to regrow the stash.
Yeah, he does have the stash and 8-bit and his pipe. I need to think of what would be a good. Is there a weapon that you should have, Troy, or an item?
I think a dagger, because that's going to be,
Oh, that's interesting.
later on.
Yeah, I might add that.
Like a sacrificial dagger kind of thing?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yes.
Yep.
Speaking of arcade, I will say last night I was also watching some videos on how to make puppets. So.
Ooh.
I just saw that Picard should have been a movie. Are you trying to say that it should not have been a full series?
Although the series, both seasons are so good.
I haven't seen the second, but I love the first one.
Yep.
I'm just behind. I haven't seen it because
I love the guy that was the Romulan like spy guy in the first.
Oh yeah.
I forget his name. Treadaway.
He
was also Mr. Mercedes in the TV series.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Really good actor, yeah.
God damn, that first season of Mr. Mercedes is fantastic.
And because of your warning, I never watched the rest of them because I would just be angry. Although I got to say, I finished up the series of Daredevil. Was he Born Again? And it was great. Like
nice. With Vincent D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio is the kingpin. He's the mayor of New York. It's just fucking great.
D'Onofrio, it brings it to anything he's in. I think anything he's in, I would enjoy.
And he and Charlie Cox, like who plays Daredevil, they've just got such great chemistry together. Like all the scenes with the two of them.
What's your major malfunction, numbnuts?
And the guy that plays the Punisher, he's so great in it too.
Yeah, when I was watching I watched the Punisher, and when I was it was the second surgery I had, and it hit me really strange because a lot of that show is about him dealing with pain, and there was a thing that he talked about, and I always remember, and he said the character was talking about that your body does not hold memory of physical pain, and it's probably. I actually looked into this afterwards to see if that's true, and that is true, and I think it's a defense mechanism.
Oh
so
yeah, it's probably a good thing.
You can like think about it, but you can't actually pull up the physical pain. But scar, your mental pain thing is different. That's and anyway, it was a really weird thing to watch when I was in very, very bad physical pain, but also oddly comforting in a way because I was like, well, then maybe I won't remember. Like this will go away at some point. But anyway, that's
PTSD.
What?
What about phantom limb? What about PTSD?
Yeah, so let's see. That's not like a pain though. It's almost like you feel like it's there, but it's not necessarily like and it is. I've tried to even think about, and like I can remember being in pain, but I can't like remember the exact thing. It's an interesting thing. This is not horror, but I got this hat from one of my favorite places.
Nice.
Ah, it's weird seeing your baseball hat.
Yeah. So the waitress that I don't know how she always remembers us, Troy, but last time we were there, she was like, "Where's Mama?"
Yeah, you're not recognizable at all.
No, she was like, and Joe was there. I was like, she's like, "Oh, you brought Mama this time." I was like, yeah. And she's like, "Oh, you get new pink." We just get these new hat, new color, and I was like,
nice.
"Oh, that's pretty sweet." So, I thought she'd just give it to me, but I bought it.
I'm not sure what Christian's saying, whether or not he likes the J.J. Abrams movies, but
Picard is good, but imagine a big screen reunion. I see.
Above it.
I just like that Star Trek is daring to have fun again and not following the deadly serious trend that restarted in the J.J. Abrams movies. I actually like I liked the first one, and
I don't dig it.
I did not like the Khan one. I hated that movie, but I think it was
I
the
remember
third
you
one.
didn't like that one.
Yeah, I think it was the third one I thought was really good. That one, the third one is more fun actually.
Yeah.
But it didn't do
Screen reunion of Next Gen cast would be cool. I did love it in Picard, seeing all those different people, seeing what happened to the various characters. Riker and Deanna Troi. So great. Super cool.
Yeah, then I think you saw Geordi and everybody too, right? And, yeah.
And then with
so that's
Data.
good stuff. Yep.
Data's sadness. I don't know where that went in the second season, but in the first
Yeah, I don't
season,
want to tell you. It's really interesting, though. It's a great, like, the second season. It's just as good as the first, I thought.
cool. Does it have like an end, or is it like, where's the third season?
I think this one had a finite ending. I think it was, you got the goods in the second one.
Okay.
Which is better than the Marvel Universe, bringing back, like, the goofs from the Fox X-Men. And, like, here you go. You got two 90-year-old guys. And they're probably going to make 1 million movies with these two cats.
Oh, my God. Okay. And if something happens, they can just CGI AI them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, my goodness.
Monster Expo.
It's true.
Just let people know about Monster Expo halfway to Halloween. Tom Matthews will be there from Return of the Living Dead. Linnea Quigley.
Nice. Where's this one going to be?
Cool. And CJ Graham.
Is this the Nashville one or the other?
No, this is the Fairhaven one.
Oh, okay.
Fairhaven. The Nashville one will be like their big one, their big annual.
That's right. That's a great venue, the Nashville one. The place looks like a castle. It's cool.
Yeah, we've been given passes if we decide.
Nice.
To the one in Nashville.
Cool.
And then this week, Stern Pinball. They debuted their new pinball machine.
Yeah,
with
looks pretty
King Kong. It looks pretty
Cool.
fucking awesome.
Nice. You know what, Christian? It is. I didn't realize how late it is. I also need to sleep because I do work.
All right, real quick before we all head off, I just want to say I went to Encore for the first time in a long time. I've been gambling for a long time. Friggin' King. No, I actually lost. I didn't win anything.
What?
But King Kong was sweet. They have a King Kong machine, and they have freaking Dracula machine with Bela Lugosi on it.
Really?
It was so fun.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
A new
So what do you have
Conan
to
machine.
what do you have to accomplish in these games?
So the Dracula game. So you got Bela Lugosi. You got a woman.
What's the style of the game first?
What do you mean? I mean,
Did you ever see the Frankenstein one? It looked a lot like it.
Yeah, it's made by the same people, and you got to get like a heart, and then if the heart lands, and then if you get Bela Lugosi's, then you spin a big wheel, and you can get all kinds of cool stuff.
Exactly.
So it was
Fun
very
bonuses is what we like in that.
Yeah, King Kong was kind of the same way. It was like a big King Kong was above you, like, "Argh!" And then every once in a while he'd just smash and then like he'd make you win. Like if the things didn't quite line up, he'd just smash it and like knock it down.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Sounds like a friend.
Yeah, I was only there for a little while. I was only about an hour and a half, but I had like an hour and a half to kill before the late bus after the movie. I was like, why don't I head over to Encore for a while?
Why
Yeah, it
not?
was worth a shot, right?
Yeah, I had fun. I didn't lose a lot. I just brought a little bit to play, but it was a good time. But I unfortunately did not win.
Next time.
You will. You always end up coming out ahead financially.
You'll get it.
All right. So we'll be back next week. There'll be some interviews popping up. There's a very short interview, but it was a cool interview with the director of Freywaka, the new Irish horror film. Yeah, that'll come up. I'm not sure when I can post it, but it comes out next week on Shudder. A movie, Dead Mail, comes out tomorrow on Shudder. I really like this movie a lot. It's an 80s movie, but like I always say, I think of 80s like a grittiness, not neon and Rubik's cubes and all that bullshit. And this is a very gritty 80s film. Very interesting premise. Someone's locked up in the basement. They write, I'm held hostage, help me, on a little piece of paper. They throw it into the mailbox. They that's how the movie opens. He's crawling out, all chained up, drops in the mailbox, and he's like pulled back into the house. Like, what the hell? And then it goes to because it's not like stamped or nothing, so it goes to the dead mail division at the post office, where it's like people try to find where these should go, and they're like, oh, I don't know, and probably just someone pulling a prank, and they throw it away. Then the guy's leaving. He's like, maybe there's something more to that. He goes back up and gets it out of the trash, and then a lot of things go on. Really good movie, really cool idea. More of a crime movie, I guess, than a horror movie, but I liked it.
No, it sounds cool. I'm very interested in
good
that.
one.
I liked it a lot. So hopefully we can get the director on. But I don't know. But either way, it's cool. It's two buddies wrote and directed. All right. So we'll be back next week. Till then, this is Nasty Neal.
Oh, make me terrible, Troy.
And this is Annabelle Lecter.